Sam De La Torre. What's happening, Sam?
We're 3 minutes late.
Oh my God, it's Scott Buchert's fault. How are you?
Doing good. How about yourself?
I'm great, thank you. Actually, you want to know the truth? I'm all screwed up. No, you don't. I know you don't. So, I was lifting weights, believe it or not, and I messed up my neck. So I got like one of those pinched nerve things for 3 days. Like I haven't slept for 2 nights. I've been so screwed up. I go down there in the morning briefing, and I'm like just waiting for it to. Yeah, and I have a rib here that pops out from time to time.
What the heck?
So when I was lifting weights, so now it's like going from here to here. Here. It feels much better right now. I think I'm over the hump, but I had to fake it a few times in the morning briefing. Let me tell you, I was dying down there. But all is good now. It's almost Christmas, and the fish are still biting. What do you think?
Yeah, that's the big deal right there. They are biting for it being this time of year.
Well, yeah, even for it not being. I mean, Pride 55 halibut. We talked about that last time, but that was their most recent trip. They're out right now. I don't know if you know a young lady named Fatima Herrera.
I've seen the. I don't know her personally.
Okay, yeah, she's a nice kid, and she did our podcast once. And Israel de la Cruz,
He was on the trip?
he's on the trip. I waited for him to come down, and it was nice to see him, so I got to see him. And they're out there doing their thing, so we'll have some intel on exactly how they do on that trip. And then, you know, this long-range bite has been spectacular. I've seen guys down there in Ensenada just hammering the big bonita. It's been really great.
Yeah.
Really, really good.
You're still a little stiff, huh?
Oh, can you see it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I am. Oh, yeah, I am.
The
I'm
stiff
dying.
neck.
Yeah, it's screwed up. And I've tried, like, to not take any pills. So I've tried to stay away from ibuprofen and everything since I got on this carnivore thing. But I bit the bullet last night, and I got a few hours sleep. I took some ibuprofen, and took the pain away. But I think I'm almost there. I think it's just a part of old age, right? And it's got to be. But hopefully, you know, it'll be over soon. And I'm a little distracted because I'm trying to turn the volume up, which I've managed to do. Do you stay up on current events?
No.
Well, did you see that President Biden's motorcade, somebody ran into it?
What?
Somebody ran into it. And then there's a sex tape. Have you heard about that?
No.
There's a sex tape. So for some reason in Washington, D.C. right now, a lot of people are getting rear-ended. It's just a terrible situation. I couldn't resist. Okay.
You're always up to no good. I can guarantee that.
Scott Buchert has a whole bunch of questions already in here. I will be delving into those questions and all of your questions out there, my friends. Anybody has a question, of course, Sam and I welcome you to Tackle Box or Tackle Shop Confessions. I'll get this straight. Just give me a second. And once again, dude, you went trout fishing. Oh, wait a minute. There's one other thing I need to get you on.
What's that?
Yeah, because a whole bunch of people. Guess what I did while you were trout fishing?
What did you do? Nothing.
No, I did something. I hooked up with Patrick in Florida and did a full podcast.
Really?
I did it. Yeah. So you were wrong, and everybody out there, people were commenting on that.
About right.
People were commenting, "Oh, Sam, I'm going to let him know on Tackle Shop Confessions."
What did you do?
It's a secret. No, I'm not telling you, but it worked out perfectly. So yeah, if I go to Florida, we can still do Tackle Shop Confessions.
So you did it. Well, explain to me because I haven't seen it.
Okay, so in other words, I went live.
You were live in Florida.
Just like this.
So you flew to Florida.
No, I was in.
Oh, you were here.
22nd Street.
I got you.
Patrick's in Florida.
Okay.
He popped up on the screen, I popped up next to him, and then we went back and forth on the whole thing.
Cool.
In fact, his idea, and I'd love you to participate if you think this is a good idea, he said, why don't I get out on a flats boat?
Yeah.
You guys catch sand bass, and we'll just like, hey, look what I got in Florida, you know, and these are blah, 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 and hey, look what we got. We can almost do a California versus Florida kind of
They'll
thing.
probably catch way more fish than
I
we do.
know.
Yeah, I know.
But we can try.
Yeah, it'd be cool to just see it both at the same time, though, for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
You'd have to get into something like, you know, maybe like fish at PB or something like that for some bass or something.
Yeah, right.
I mean, you know, there are times, I mean, like this year, earlier, where they were catching that sand bass full speed, I mean, it would work out then.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Or, you know, I mean, Benny Florentino would be the perfect guy for that kind of a
Yeah,
thing.
kind of hard to book a guy like that. He's
I know.
so busy, but
We'd have to work around his schedule
yeah,
somehow.
but yeah,
Tom
maybe.
Durer.
Well, yeah, there you go.
You know, I mean, you got the first class
Is he
guy,
going
Benny
out?
Florentino, and then you got the
Yeah.
211th guy, Tom Durer. But What are you gonna do?
Beggars cannot be choosers. Yeah.
Exactly. Tell him or maybe the El Patron will take us out and we goof around. And,
So he's living out there.
yeah, he moved there.
Is he fishing out there?
Yeah, well, he
How
just
long has he been there? He just got there.
Yeah, he just drove
Yeah.
there from here.
Yeah,
so
he just barely got there.
Just got there. And of course, he's going to continue fishing and everything, but he's going to have his hands full here for a little bit.
Yeah. So it might be a little while before we can do something like that.
Yeah, we'll see. But he was very encouraged by the response he got in Florida on that one little podcast we did. So he said, "Yeah, let's make this a regular thing."
Yeah, that'd be cool. I'd like to see it. I mean, I'd see it.
A bunch of people started naming the show, like Highway 10. One guy had From Sea to Shining Sea, Coast to Coast.
Coast to coast, something other.
Yeah, so it was pretty cool. So that's something we'll do. You want to do a few questions, or
Yeah, let's get to it.
we'll get to some questions, and then we'll move into some other stuff. Hit that like button if you don't mind. Subscribe to the channel. Make sure you come by Island Fishing Tqckle to visit Sam really soon. And what else can I say?
Well, we're gonna skip the first 10 questions, so we're gonna get through this pretty quick. Yeah.
Scott Bucher, what do you use to catch sea bass?
Squid.
Perfect. What is a good time to go for sea bass?
When the squid are around.
What is a good setup or rig for halibut?
Probably a reverse dropper loop, I would say.
You're not giving Scott any detail
man,
at all.
forever.
What is a good? What the hell is this? He just came
What a
up
good
with.
jig stick, yeah.
That's a good jig. He just wrote like, I know what's going on. I'll tell you what's going on. He's working. He's washing dishes. So before he went in, he fired these in, and he's sitting there with the thing in his ear listening right now. So we should thank Scott. This adds to our show, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're lying.
No, okay.
What is a good jig stick?
I would say a 90J.
What's a good yo-yo rod?
Something like a 6470 or 6475, something like that.
This is all Scott Bucher, ladies and gentlemen. He's a great guy. What's a good time of the year to go fishing at Cedros? Now, this is actually a good question.
That's a good one, yeah. So it's good. They operate really through the prime time of the year as it is. I think they run through the late May through I want to say early October or mid October or something like that. And so they're really the way that they operate down there as far as the lodges, they're really only running during the prime time of the year. So I wouldn't be too concerned. Anytime that you can book down there with those guys, I think you're going to have a good trip. But something that talking to the guys down there when I went down there this year is not necessarily that it's better one year or one part of the year or the other. It's really more maybe there's sometimes more of some kind of fish than others. So depending on what you want to target, like asking them about big yellowtail, they're like, well, maybe it would be more like in July or something like that.
Yeah.
June, July. More variety where you might get some white sea bass or halibut, maybe earlier in
Which
the year.
I don't think most people think of Cedros as a venue for that, but it's fantastic.
Yeah, it's pretty good actually, And then later in the year, you might get more variety into more like Dorado or tuna or something like that. So it really just kind of depends on what you want to do. Now, of course, that calico bass is pretty much omnipresent there all year long. But I would say it just really depends on what you want to target. But generally, all times of year when they're open, they're pretty dang good fishing.
Scott, those were excellent questions. We thank you from the bottom of our heart. Keep them coming. Dan Smith, whose wife Kim is recovering from surgery, and we send Kim all our very, very best. Hello, Phil, Sam, and all you fine folks of the Friedman Adventures family. Welcome all you watching for the first time. Kim and I wish you a blessed night. He's a super good guy, old commercial fisherman. Wife is a beautiful Chinese lady who is on the carnivore diet.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she is. She's been on it way longer than me, several years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, several years. So, good person, and she's recovering from some surgery, so she's getting better and better all the time. And as I said the other day, do you know what the question she asked her doctor before she went under the knife was? When will I be able to go fishing?
Really?
Yeah. So that's our kind of people.
Soon, I hope.
Chris Martinez loaded up the questions pretty early. No kidding, Chris. That Bucher is out of control. Mech. Did I get that right? Is it Mech? Oh, what's going on with your thing?
I don't know. Maybe you didn't charge it or something.
Oh, maybe I didn't put the...
oh, yeah.
What a dope. Is this actually working? Can people hear us?
Probably not.
Well, they must. Watch out.
They can. These are all questions that came on before we started.
Oh, watch out there, Sam. Let me through
Sorry.
it. That's all right. What a dope you are, Sam.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, my goodness. Let me
Put
do
the
it.
camera back a little bit, too.
All right, hold on. This is great. All right, I bet people can.
That's what that flashing meant.
Yeah, you got. Yeah, I know exactly. I should have seen that. Ask. Could you hear us before that, everybody? I'm curious.
They probably could, but it was probably
Probably, yeah.
a
I'm
little
sure.
off.
All right. I'm telling you. I got a bad neck, a broken rib. I got a lot of excuses tonight. So there you go.
Maybe it's something that started at the top and it's just going down
Might
the
be.
brain. Yeah.
And what brain?
Yeah.
All right. Hey, it doesn't sound like the mics are on. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you. No kidding, man. What a dope.
So he just now connected the mics.
Yes.
In case you guys were
I was
wondering.
doing a test to see how closely you were paying attention. And thank God nobody could hear Scott's questions, actually. Yeah, right?
Everybody was paying attention. This guy was not.
David Rosenthal, good evening, Phil and Sam. David was fishing the Ventura Coast a couple days ago with a friend, had halibut, sheep's head. I think they had some bass. David, good to see you, and I'm so happy you had a really great.
He had it this morning on the show, right?
Yeah, I actually had his photos up there.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. Balboa Fish Group, good morning, family. Going tonight for langostas. Hey, best of luck to you. Hope you get them. Fish with Ish is joining us. Emmanuel Navarro, I believe, is from Florida. Yep,
Oh, nice.
Glad I made the show. Hi from Florida. Yeah, we did that show with my son from Florida just the other night, so hopefully we'll be doing a lot more of that. And maybe Sam and I will even take a trip to Florida one of these days. That would be great. All right, Sarah here. Always good to hear from our friends in Montana. Good evening, Sam. I just want to say that Phil did amazing talking to his son Patrick in Florida. I love Sarah. I'm looking forward to the Tackle Shop Confessions when he goes to Florida. See, Sam?
Well, look.
Thank God the mics are working now.
You did do it, so I'm going to give you props on that.
Okay.
Great.
Yes.
But it still stands to see if we can actually be able to get it done when you need to do it.
Well,
when you're in Florida. Because that's what you were saying, right?
Yeah, it's same thing. Same process.
You'll mess something up. You couldn't even put the...
When's the last time I messed something up? 30 seconds ago?
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot to plug the mic in.
Yeah, you started late.
Oh, yeah.
This thing's in the wrong place. That thing, you couldn't fix the thing in the back there, none in the mic. So that's 5.
You're hurting my feelings, Sam.
Less than an hour.
2 minutes.
Add them up. Let's add them up.
All right, Sarah, thanks. Keep rubbing it in, Sarah. I need some help here. All right, and another complaint about the audio. James, I think we got it figured out. I think people could hear us, but obviously it's much better now. Yeah. Sorry about that, everybody. Raul, Phil, Sam, good evening, Sam. Just picked up GP 80 Tilefish Jr. and want to pair it with the best reel. What would that be?
Wow, so there's definitely a couple different options. You're going to fish 30-pound, maybe even 40-pound on that thing there. I think personally myself, I probably would look at some of the smaller 2-speeds that are out there, something like a Fathom or Torque 15, maybe a Tanaka or Speedmaster 10, something like that would probably be what I would look at. Okuma, they also have a small 2-speed. They have that Alejos or something like that, maybe in a 5. So something in that smaller class 2-speed would be great with that rod. It's a really nice rod, ton of power, but it's got that light tip that you can fish lighter line on it. So all that fishing that we had this year, fishing 25-pound test for that tuna, I think that rod would be perfect for, even 30-pound test, but even 40 on that thing. So it's a pretty versatile rod. Any of those reels would work great.
All right, very good. We've got people from all over the country tonight watching us, Texas, Florida, Montana. It's great to see you all here. Thank you so very much. I guess we will not be on the air next Monday night, right? Christmas night? I
would say no.
Yeah, that'd probably be a big mistake.
Well, for you can have people in all over the world and we could be on the show, right?
That's true.
From your house.
Oh, yeah. Now I can do that. You doubted me. I'm a guy that...
has many talents.
Yeah, right. Unfortunately.
You gain some, you lose some.
Yeah, exactly.
And Tyler is in Texas, so he's traveling.
Yeah. Tyler's in Texas. He says, hello to the Friedman Adventure family. Thanks for keeping me company while I'm on the road. Tyler, always a pleasure to see you, my friend. Balboa Fish Group. Hey, Guy, is there some kind of waterproof device that gives off the same electrical continuity of a fish?
No, I wouldn't think so. I mean, I'm pretty sure there's all kinds of gimmicky things that have been put out over the years, but no, I wouldn't subscribe to anything like that myself.
Or you would think if there is something, it'd be a gimmick.
Yeah,
probably,
well,
right?
As far as I know, yeah. I mean, I'm sure there's been things out there. I'm sure if you Google it, something will come up, or someone want to tell you something, but I haven't heard of anything that would work.
Jeff Yeomans, 540 Slingers Club. Good evening, Phil, Sam, and Friedman Adventures family. Good evening,
Good
Jeff.
evening, Jeff.
Good to see you. Martin M. Happy holidays, guys. Let's talk surface iron. All right, that sounds good, Martin. What are you looking for in the water besides birds when you make a cast with the iron? A flat spoon, a flat spot, a swirl, or something else? Really good question, Martin.
Pretty much anything.
Sam probably doesn't have a really good answer, but great question.
Pretty much anything out of the ordinary, really. I mean, something that just doesn't belong, and it could be all those things are probably the primary ones, as far as what you're looking for, and the bird part of it probably going to be the most important. Not necessarily that you see a bird, because birds are going to be flying everywhere, but maybe a bird that's kind of looks like it's really focusing on one spot in the water. And you'll see different birds do that. You'll see a pelican flying around. They don't hover, but those birds that kind of hover, those tern birds, are the ones that we love the most, because those things will hover over a fish for a while. So those are the ones that you really kind of want to keep your eye on. Some of the other birds, they just don't do that as much. But obviously, if you see a bird diving or something like that, that's actually trying to feed, that might be another thing from another type of bird. But really, the bird activity, not just birds in general, but anything that you see that's kind of out of the ordinary. Sometimes you'll see bait fish that kind of get to where they'll jump out of the water, something's chasing them, something like that.
Oh, yeah.
But the stuff that you're describing is probably, in a nutshell, everything else you want to look for.
You know what has honed my skills on that? Honestly, you're going to laugh, but since I don't fish anymore, I'm shooting video all the time. And if I shoot a fish that boils, like a yellowfin tuna in slow-mo, you don't see it in real time, but when you go back and look at it, you get to see the fish come out of the water. It's a pitch and shot. So how the hell are you going to get, that's almost, but man, I am constantly watching birds. When I see that hovering, I just start shooting there, and inevitably you'll get it. Yeah. And so you're thinking to yourself, man, if I'm with my jig stick right here, I'm coming right through them. When I keep thinking that, I should have a jig or a bait right there. But if you see that hovering, you can see it, like several birds hovering, and they're just looking because that bait is just below the surface. That fish will force it up, and then they dive. But inevitably, there's a boil right there. So
yeah, I mean, those fish can typically, I don't know if this is true, but I don't even remember where I heard this from, but I think it was kind of maybe a general knowledge thing too, is that the higher the bird is, the deeper that activity is that's going on. So if you see a bird that's real low to the water, a lot of times that bait fish or game fish activity is typically happening real close to the surface as well. So it might give you kind of an indication as to maybe where you might let a jig sink out a little more or something like that. But there's really not too many birds that do that. It's those white tern birds that will do that hovering activity. So keep an eye on that. But you don't always see that. Sometimes you'll just see a bird kind of circling, maybe a seagull or something like that, like hovering, kind of like doing circles in a small area. But those tern birds, those small tern birds, those are the ones that really kind of give them away.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. And several people commenting that now they can finally hear us. So thank God we got it under control. Steve Bermuda says, Scott stole all my questions tonight. He's got no more questions.
Yeah, he did a pretty good job there. Yeah,
I know.
That's why I tried to answer him real quick. Maybe we can leave it open for
so somebody
questions.
Yeah, now that we actually have the mics on.
Yeah.
It always works better.
Yeah. I didn't even answer anything too, if you think about it.
That's great. Yeah, just repeat those questions.
Yeah,
Scott, not you. Fish with this. Sam, do you have a rod I can cast a mac or sardine with my Tranx 400 on 50 pound? Of course he does.
50 pound, yeah, for sure. So that Tranx 400, when we talk 50 pound, I assume you're talking 50 pound braid. But normally when we say 50 pound, you're talking about a 50 pound line, like Top Shot, which would be a little bit big for a reel like that, especially casting a mackerel. But definitely have a lot of bait caster rods. So a bait caster rod is basically going to be something that's kind of designed for a low profile reel, smaller reel like that 400, where the reel seat itself is made so that it has a trigger, and you're able to palm the reel and also hold the trigger, which I actually prefer with a bait caster. But we have those rods there from very light to very heavy, where you'd be able to cast a heavy bait. Like a mackerel is a pretty heavy bait. So you're almost looking at two different rods between that mackerel and the sardine. But we have them both, and maybe something in between would work pretty good too.
Sam, do you want to talk about your recent trout fishing experience? Where did you go and how was it?
So we've gone a couple places. First we went to the local lake.
Yeah.
We went to Alondra to kind of check that out, Alondra Park. And to be honest with you, I think you got to be there the day that they're putting them in. From what I saw, talking to some of the guys who were fishing there, we were there maybe almost a week after. But this is all coming on the heels of the news that LA County and Orange County is basically stocking a few of the local park lakes like every 2 weeks, and some of those park lakes are even getting a secondary stock even more often than that. So the idea.
And what was the schedule before that? Was this new?
Oh, very new. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it changes every year, and I don't understand really the politics of why it differs from year to year. It could be water levels. It could be, just financial things, things like that. So I'm not really sure as to why, and who decides how often it happens. But for sure, just from me over the years tracking, when it would happen, typically you would look at a trout stocking for, like, let's say Alondra Park, and you'd see maybe two on the whole schedule for the whole season.
Oh, wow.
And it was kind of just what I was used to. So you figure you want to go fishing that day, that was your chance to get a local trout.
And that's it.
And that's it, pretty much, yeah. So what happens is, besides the fact that it's going into a park lake, so it's not the cleanest water. Some of the trout's going to die just from the transfer.
Freaking birds.
Birds are going to eat them. Cormorants. I mean, there's like a ton of cormorants there, and those things can eat like a 5-pound, bonita or something like that. So a little half-pound trout's going to be no problem. And then people just catch them. So they just wouldn't last too long. I mean, literally probably 2 or 3 days, and that's it. They're all gone. So the idea is that now they're going to be planting more and more often. So we went down there to check it out. Obviously, it was the first plant. So, I'm sure that first go around, it was going to go through all that stuff. So we didn't catch anything. So we went down to Mouse Square Park in Orange County, kind of to check that out. And even though we didn't catch anything, there was a lot more people fishing. And there was one guy I saw catch one. So I know they're there. But definitely the activity that I saw there kind of suggested to me.
You mean a lot of anglers?
A lot of anglers. Yeah. And not only a lot of anglers, a lot of guys with nice gear, meaning guys that go fishing a lot. I can tell that they fish a lot. They had multiple rod holders, the whole deal. Kind of what you would expect to see at maybe a lake that's further inland or something like that. So to me, I feel like there is better chances over there. But we also didn't catch anything there. We only fished for a little while, so it could be a time of day thing or something like that. But to be honest with you, I've never even caught a trout, so I'm new to the trout.
Are you
deal.
serious?
Yeah. So
wow.
I just never something I did growing up.
You've always been a saltwater guy.
Yeah,
huh?
never something I did growing up. But now with Diego and Luna, I want to be able to kind of do some more freshwater type fishing, and so I need to kind of start figuring that out myself.
Honing your skills a little bit.
Yeah. And we were just jig fishing, mini jig fishing. So maybe we might have had some better success if we were going to be using the dough bait, power bait type stuff, or maybe a night crawler or something like that, which I might try next time because I'm getting tired of not catching anything. But
yeah.
But for sure, definitely going to take these opportunities. I'm going to go more often this whole time, and I might venture out to the bigger lakes. There's bigger lakes that they also get bigger plants as well, so meaning a bigger stocking. So that might be something I might do later in the winter here.
Jamie Valdovinos, I saw he put a post up on Facebook. Does he come in there?
Yeah.
You know him? Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And shoot, he looked like he had limits of trout with his brother Alex. They killed him. That was Lake Irvine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know there's better lakes to go to for sure. Like I said, I was just trying the local park lakes, but I know I'm probably going to have to venture out to some of the better, quote unquote, better lakes to get some better success.
Balboa Fish Group says, hit that like button, and I second that. Hit that like button, everybody. We deeply appreciate it when you do. Fish was talking about for tuna, okay. Sam. So you answered that, right?
Yeah. And as far as what you're looking for, maybe something 8 foot, rated like 20 to 50, something like that would be, what you're going to be looking at. But yeah, we definitely have a few rods that you can check out here for sure.
All right, Tyler Tanaka, I heard a great tip about birds from a bird scientist. The tern's height above the water when they dive is the distance of the bait under the water. So you can judge how long to let your lure sink. Whoa. That's cool.
Copied me. Yeah, that's
Did you just say that? I wasn't
paying
attention. Yeah, I wasn't listening.
It was while I was sitting here.
Oh,
after
during the show?
Yes.
Oh, I just tune you out automatically, huh?
Sounds like it, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to test that too here.
No. You'll bust me way too much. When you say something about me, it's usually back there.
Yeah. I don't have to go all the way over there. I can sit right here. You wouldn't know.
That's true. All right, Tyler. Very good.
But Tyler, that was very, very observant.
Yes, that's the first time I've ever heard that,
that's probably
Tyler.
The smartest thing I've heard all day.
Yeah, me too. All right, Meg says, How was the trout fishing? Well, we kind of covered that all right. People are
Did we?
reading our minds. Yeah. I don't know. What were you talking about? Trout or calico bass?
I know.
Yeah, really. Let's see. Tyler. Yeah, there we go. That's funny. Doug Tilk, who's a fantastic human being and made our Christmas party a reality. And came down and visited me yesterday at 22nd Street Landing. Hi, Phil and Sam. Hey, Phil, ask Sam if he carries parts for that Penn Long Beach reel with a metal spool I dropped off. LOL. Sam, do you display old tackle in your shop? Yeah, Doug gave me that. I might have it out in my car. Like I said, did I tell you that I have a bad neck and this rib is really bothering me?
Talked about
Yeah,
your rib comes out of place or something like that.
I'm in horrible pain, but I get up every morning. I do the morning briefing anyway, and I just forge on. And you never called you and said, let's postpone this show.
No.
Oh, yeah. So I'm trying to make an excuse why I didn't bring that reel down to shake because I promised Doug I was going to do that. Anyway, you want me to go look?
No, it's all right.
Okay. So, Doug, he doesn't want me to look. I deeply appreciate you bringing that.
So, yeah, I mean, the parts that are normally
this thing's like from the 1950s.
Yeah. So some of the parts they never changed them. The drag sizes and things like that. I don't think that reel has any bearings. I don't have a whole lot of parts, so depending on what you're missing, was it missing a handle or something like that?
No, it looked good. It looked like it was in good shape.
I wouldn't think you would need any parts, but definitely don't. I wouldn't have all the parts in stock from that reel specifically, except for maybe the drags, which is probably all you would be able to change on that thing anyway.
He brought a really old rod also that was really cool. So yeah,
we don't really have them on display. I mean, as far as like a museum type display, I guess. I mean, I have a bunch of old jigs in one of the cases here or something like that. But as far as rods and reels, I really don't have them on display. Like, I think Eric's Tackle does. I think they have a big display above the register or something like that, which is kind of cool. Maybe I should do something like that. But
yeah, you should.
But
what's wrong with you?
I try to keep this place clean, and not very successful at it. So I don't want to make it any worse.
Robert Graber, who is a man who is very intelligent and insightful and makes an insightful comment right now. Robert says, good evening, all. See, Sam, Phil mastered the Florida to California connection. Then you screwed him up and jinxed him on the sound tonight.
I did.
Yeah, when I'm alone, everything goes smoothly.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, look what you did. Thank you, Robert. Appreciate that. Anthony. Hi, both of y'all. Everyone, subscribe. Anthony, thank you so very much. Both Sam and I really, really appreciate it. Jeremy, good to see you here. Jeremy did some rock fishing on the South 9 yesterday. It was gorgeous weather and pretty flat. Numbers were good, but sizes weren't that big. Caught a few on slow pitch jigging set up. Rock fishing's been good. A guy that participates in the show all the time, Halibut Man, Mitchell's his name. He came into I had all kinds of people coming in there yesterday, and he said, would you like some rockfish? And I said, yeah, sure. He just got in on a private boat. Man, they weren't big, but they weren't small. They were just beautiful chili peppers.
Oh, okay.
Local chilies.
Nice.
And they were gorgeous fish, man.
Deep water.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And, typical chili pepper thing, they're up high a lot of times. He said they were fishing 500 feet of water and getting bit from 200 to 400 feet, just getting stopped.
All right.
So there had to be a ton of those things around, man. And that was really, really cool. David Rosenthal. David, great to have you here with us. So happy you had so much fun up there in Ventura. What's your opinion on the Penn Fathom Low profile versus the Shimano Tranks?
So both great reels. The Penn is kind of a reel that's made kind of similar to the Abu Garcia Revo. It's a really nice reels. The one thing I would say that the Tranks 400 per se, if you were to compare them side by side, I think takes a little bit more line than the Fathom Low Speed. And I think the 300 for sure takes more line. But the Fathoms are nice too. I think the for sure when we were putting line on them, I think the Tranks feels like it's got a little bit more drag. But other than that, I mean, they're both really nice reels. I mean, a lot of guys like the way that the Fathom Low profile, and also they also have another series that's the Squall, which is kind of a lower price one, and honestly, you can't even hardly tell them apart. So if you wanted to get into a reel that was maybe a little more budget friendly, that Squall is about $100 less. So
wow, really?
You might want to check that one out as well. But they're both really nice reels. Although the Tranks is going to hold maybe a little bit more line.
All right, very good. And Jeremy out there on the 9, doing good. David Rosenthal, good to have you here. And Steve Bermudez has a question that Scott didn't ask tonight. Sam, do you know of an English translated Mexican fishing rules and regulations online or printed?
Um, not off the top of my head, but I think that
Isn't there a website
yeah,
in
there's a
Spanish
website.
and English?
Yeah, there's a website that depending on your computer, it'll automatically,
Conapesca, is it? Or
Kona Pesca is one of them,
yeah,
but there's another one that where you buy the fishing license. I think if you just Google like Mexican fishing license, it
yes.
comes up as like a top result. Maybe it's called Baja Sur or something like
Yeah,
that.
there's Baja Sur and Norte. They both compete against each other,
Yeah,
the northern state and the southern state, for that revenue.
right,
So,
right.
yeah,
So I think when you buy it, there should be a link there to that. So I'd have to look
I'm
that up.
pretty sure there is, Steve. But, Steve, you speak Spanish. What's wrong with you? Or get your wife to translate it for you. All right, Anthony said, he went on the Monte Carlo and fished sheep's head, caught a big sheep's head. So, there's certainly been a lot of big goats around lately, huh?
Yeah,
Those
yeah, yeah,
viejas
yeah.
are biting, let me tell you.
I
What are
think
you
I saw
laughing
some
about?
of the trips too. They've been getting like a lot, like really good. Even on the local stuff, I was checking some of the reports too. So that's pretty good. Look for that license thing here.
Oh, perfect. Hey, what would I have to do to like get you to massage my shoulder a little bit? It's really bothering
I
me.
don't think there's anything you could do.
Nothing?
No,
All
not
right,
one
that's I
thing.
kind of figured that. Christopher Navarro, Sam, do you ever let a surface iron sink out, kind of like you would with a Colt sniper?
Yeah, for sure.
I do all the
My
time.
biggest sheephead ever I caught on a surface iron that let it sink out.
Just the jig? No,
Just
not
the
with a
jig.
bait on it?
Yeah,
Really?
yeah, yeah. Like a 15-pound sheephead.
Where
Yeah.
at Nick?
It was at Guadalupe Island.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Well, actually, to be truthful,
Yes,
I had
please,
gotten a
for a change.
backlash, and it took me so long to get it out that my jig was straight up and down by the time I got it out. And of course, as I was getting it out, I got bit. I thought I had a yellowtail, but it was a big old sheephead. Ate my
That
jig
is
just sitting there, and it was probably from me messing with the line. I'm sure the jig was just dancing around, and all of a sudden I got bit. I'm like, oh man, wind that thing in. And my first thought was get some line on the reel in case it takes a run. It's going to run in that backlash and break me off. But I kept whining, and it was heavy. I brought it all the way up as a sheephead.
That
Straightened me
is
down.
so freaking funny because same thing happened to me in Ensenada, and I
Really?
caught my biggest halibut ever. I had a bird's nest, but I thought I'd snagged like kelp or something. I just whined in it, and I'm like, there was no head shake, nothing. And then all of a sudden, whoa,
Big
hey,
ol' halibut.
gancho! I got a big lenguado here, man. Yeah, it's so funny, right? Talent. It pays off, doesn't it? It certainly does. Let's see. Christopher Navarro, Pete at Just Fishing in Redondo Beach has a lot of old pen reels and an assortment of reels
Yeah,
to get parts. That's for the guy that needs a pen spool. Yeah, Pete does, doesn't he?
he does. He's got a ton of stuff. I mean, Pete, for the guys that know. I mean, if you're not from the area, you probably never heard of Just Fishing by Pete. But Pete Wolkowski, the guy's name,
Been around forever.
been around forever.
Didn't
I
he start
mean,
at Jerry's Tackle
Jerry's
Box?
Tackle
Yes.
Box, and right on Hermosa Pier. He had his shop for a long time. But I would venture to say Pete probably has the record for most guides wrapped by anybody in the history of rod wrapping, I would think.
Are you serious?
I would imagine. I imagine he's probably built 20, 30,000 rods, I would think, in his
Wow.
life, I would think.
Wow.
And fixing reels too. That guy can take apart a reel, talk to you, not even looking. He could take apart a reel, put it back together. I mean, he's watching him work is kind of cool, actually. A little bit of a quirky guy. He's kind of a guy who's real busy. And so if you guys ever have the chance to get down to this area here, he's over there in that Torrentry down the beach area. He's on 190th, and just down by the beach. I forget the cross street, but down on 190th there, and just an old school shop. I mean, as old school as you're gonna get in the Southern California shop. He's
Yeah.
a really, really cool guy.
But he's kind of a part of the history of SoCal. He's been
I
around
would
so
agree.
long, right?
I would agree. I mean, he's, in my opinion, right there with Arts and Yo's. I mean, especially for the South Bay area.
Yeah.
To me, he's been a part of a lot of people's fishing history, fishing careers. A lot of guys that during that time we always talk about Redondo Beach.
Yeah.
Sport fishing being the mecca.
That's
of
when it was
fishing.
going on.
And he was part of that. He was part of that community. So with that kind of reviving to a degree, I'm not sure if that affects his business so much at all, but definitely, the history that is in his shop is just tremendous. And
Yeah.
he's a guy who's into the old stuff, so he's got a lot of old rods and
Are
reels.
you
Not,
t- were
yeah,
you are you too young? Did you ever go to Jerry's
I
Tackle?
didn't.
You
No,
did. Okay,
no,
yeah, that was the place. I
yeah,
mean, I remember being a pinhead and Rick Effinger, who owns Marina Del Rey now, but he was on the City of Redondo, and he goes, "Hey man, you got to get custom rods. We'll go to Jerry's," and
yeah,
that's where we went, and
yeah,
did the whole thing. And yeah, it was like a really cool place. And Nick Young used to hang out with Jerry Morris a lot.
yeah. Those kind of shops there back then, I mean, we're kind of like a rite of passage. If you, once you kind of worked on the boat for a little bit and you wanted to get like, okay, you made some money, you're gonna get a nice rod now. That's where you would go. Those kind of shops. And he continues to make a lot of rods, and so
How old is Pete now? If you
I
had to
have no
guess,
idea. I
70?
I would think 70.
He
Yeah, I
has to
would
be,
think
right? And
so.
he's still going strong.
He's still going strong. He fishes hard. He doesn't look 70 for sure. I
Yeah,
mean, you look 70. He doesn't look 70 at all. So,
jackass.
but he's a busy guy. But yeah, if you ever have the chance to go down and visit him, I would.
All right, perfect. Sam giving Pete Watkowski well, I don't know what he's giving him, but he's giving it to him.
A thumbs up.
Yes, exactly. Any good jigs for the
This guy,
goats
thumbs up.
other than the cold sniper? Do you have any other good jigs for?
I mean, in general, they really don't eat jigs too much.
No, I bet those hookup baits work good on those.
Maybe hookup baits, yeah. But that kind
Something
of goes
like,
with plastics,
yeah,
But I think the hookup bait would be another good one. But typically, those things are going to eat shellfish or
right.
squid. If anything, if you want to just try to target them, I just go
Get some
down to the
shrimp.
bonds or whatever. I mean, get yourself a pound of squid. That's going to be your best bait.
Squid or shrimp?
I'm sorry, shrimp. Shrimp, yeah. You're right.
I
Sorry about that. You caught
huh?
that.
Yes.
You're finally
See,
listening.
I do
You're
listen to
listening,
you.
yeah.
Yeah. It was just the one time I zoned out
Just
on
the
you
one
for
time,
some
yeah.
reason. I have no idea why. I think it's this horrible
It
pain
could
that
be.
I'm experiencing.
A couple wings to fix that.
Yeah, really. Yeah. Do you think I can talk the waitress over there to give me a back rub?
You could try it.
Yeah, I don't think that's
I
going
don't
to
think that's
happen.
gonna
In
work.
fact, 911 will be dialed immediately. Good evening, guys. Let's see. Wait a minute. Anthony says
Yeah, there you go.
he caught a couple of sheep's head 20 with jumbo shrimp.
Yep.
There you are. Tony says, good evening, guys. Sam and Phil. Hey, Tony. How you doing, my friend? Just in advance wishing all a Merry Christmas. Really appreciate that. And Happy New Year. Yeah, it's New Year's, too. I forgot. Oh, my God. I just want to thank you for taking the time to make this wonderful show and fill that morning briefing. Tony, that means the world to me,
That's
and I
awesome.
know it does to Sam. Thank you so much. Merry Christmas to you and all your loved ones, and let's have a great 2024.
Yeah.
This year flew by, didn't it?
Well, the fishing was just incredible. I mean, it was such an eventful year.
I know.
So many things, with the halibut, all that tuna biting for sure stayed around, I mean, and now we're back into the halibut and the tuna are biting again. It's crazy.
I know. We're going to get a really good feel on this bluefin tuna thing on December 27th, let's say, because day after Christmas, there's a bunch of 5-day boats leaving,
Yeah.
and they're probably headed out
Yeah.
looking for bluefin.
Oh,
What else
sure.
are they going to
They're
do?
going to find them too.
You
It's
know
gonna
they
be
are.
good, yeah.
Yeah. So you got the big boys heading out there, and that should be really, really interesting. And like Sam says, I don't think that fish has gone anywhere. Danny Kadota's been saying all year with all that squid here, they have no reason to leave. And, he made an interesting comment too. And that is when you're catching those things down there at 300 and 400 feet, what do you think the water temp is down there? It's obviously a lot cooler than the sea surface temp.
I would think so.
So, like, if you're in 65-degree water, it's probably in the high 50s, or who knows?
Who knows? I don't know.
It's got to be cooler, though.
Definitely cooler, for sure. For sure.
Which tells you that they can bite. They can regulate their body temp.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. I don't think it's a water temperature thing per se.
No.
But I think that what happens, the water temperature might affect the food that they're eating, and so they may be following stuff based on that. But who knows?
Yeah.
I mean, they bite.
Yeah, exactly. Raul says, Raul, good to see you here. Sam, what is the best reel to pair up with the GP80 Tilefish?
So earlier they were asking the Tilefish Junior. So
Yeah.
this Tilefish is one step heavier. Definitely a solid 40-pound rod and even maybe 50-pound rod. So we're going to step up to the next size reel, which is going to be like a Tanaka 12, Saltiga 40, something in that kind of range. You fill it with 65-pound braid is probably how I would fill that up. Something that would hold around 400 yards to 500 yards of 65-pound braid is kind of, if you're looking, but into that next size reel. And you can fish, like I said, 40 or 50 pound, that no problem.
All right, very good. Let's see. Matthew Cruz says, which spot?
The good spot.
Oh, you're not paying attention to the
What
show?
spot? I'm trying to
You
look.
really are not paying attention to the show. Now I've caught you.
Well, what spot is he asking
I have
about?
no idea.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to look back to see which spot he's
Yeah,
asking about.
Matthew. So maybe it could be a little more. Sometimes we fall behind in all the questions and everything, and I apologize for Sam not paying better attention to you.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm here for you always, 24/7. Sam,
What'd you say?
Yeah, I forget. Steve Bermudez, is that the same as Hermosa Tackle Box? So I assume that
Yeah.
he's asking if where Pete is
Pete's.
now is the
Yeah.
same. It is?
No.
Right. It's not.
What were we
Well,
saying?
don't know anymore.
Jerry's, yeah.
Yeah, Jerry's was like
Yeah,
on the
yeah.
pier,
I
or
think
right?
it was Hermosa Tackle Box. No,
Yeah,
no.
it was Hermosa
Yeah,
Tackle Box.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
but
No.
is he?
Yes.
I swear to God, this is coffee, everybody. I swear.
Too easy. It's too easy.
All right, yeah, Steve, it was Hermosa Tackle Box, but Pete Watkowski's at, what's the name of his store?
Just fishing by Pete.
Just Fishing by Pete. There you have it. All right, Chris Navarro. So the best way to catch sheepshead is the backlash with the
By
service
far,
act
by
and
far.
giant halibut
And
in
halibut too,
Ensenada. Yeah, for
Well,
sure.
That's why, Chris, he's been fishing with me a bunch of times, and he tries so hard to catch a halibut and a sheephead. I can tell by how many times he backlashes.
Oh, that's funny, man. So that this is totally off topic, but that I may have told this before, but who knows? Yeah, I have told it. But anyway, I'm going to tell it again. That trip when I caught that halibut, when we got to, my dad was like, went to daily mass. He was worked
devout.
St. Vincent de
Yeah,
Paul, the whole thing. We get in, and the girl at the landing, Ensenada, she goes, Felipe, your father is drunk.
Yeah.
And he did. He went down and had a couple drinks, and I guess he just got a little carried away. And
You couldn't believe it. You're like,
I
my
couldn't.
dad, yeah.
Yeah, my dad. Really? The guy that's at mass every morning? Everything. So, yeah, even the angels can get in a little trouble. He had 10 hours sitting there. So I'm sure he said, I'll go down and have a margarita. And he thought somebody slipped him a Mickey, but we figured out he just drank too many margaritas. It was funny. All right, let's see. Tyler Tanaka with a $5 bill. Tyler, really, really appreciate that with a super chat. Sam, I promise I typed that bird comment before you started answering. Nobody believes that, Tyler. Do you like using titanium wire for wahoo? What pound? And rating do you crimp? Of course we believe you.
So, yeah, I do like using the titanium. I mean, so there's kind of two schools of thought on that. The titanium, it works better because it doesn't get kinked up as much like his neck.
Yeah.
But it costs more money. So there's always a question of, is it worth the extra money?
God.
And for me, because you often don't have the time that you would want with that wahoo comes around. You don't have the luxury of time to just take your time and go cut that off, and then tie a new leader on. And the reason they get kinked up isn't because the wahoo so much. It's because if there's tuna around, you hook a 10 or 15 pound tuna, it jacks up your leader. And there's times where you might go through 25, 30 liters before you hook a wahoo. So that can be pretty annoying as well. Now, when you tie up a leader, or crimp one, which I do crimp on the second part of that is I do crimp, is it doesn't take a long time, but it just, it's not very expensive. It just takes the time to retie a new one on so that the titanium wire will go through a bunch of fish before it starts to crimp. So yeah, I like using the titanium when I am going to use bait. I don't often use bait for wahoo, but if I am, it's definitely going to be with titanium wire.
All right, there you go, Tyler, and thank you so very much. We really, really appreciate that. Hey, are we going to have chicken wings tonight? Of course we are.
Yeah.
Well, let's invite everybody to join us. What's the name of the place? SoCal Wings.
SoCal Wings. They're just around the corner from us. In fact, not even around the corner. It's the same corner.
Yes.
Right here. Yeah, it's within walking distance.
That's right. I'm guessing our ETA over there will be about 7:45. You'll know when the show ends.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anybody interested in 3 or 4 free chicken wings on me? Come on down and just work on here for a little bit. It's on me. You got it. All right. Carlos Mosquera. I love Carlos. Great guy. Carlos, good to see you. Good evening, gentlemen. Question for Sam, of course, because Phil doesn't know what the hell he's doing. Would it be possible to order some white Zeus blanks from UC? If yes, I'll call you tomorrow.
Yeah,
maybe you come down to SoCal Wings. Carlos seems like a strong guy.
He does sound like it, yeah. So, yeah, I mean, I definitely can order them. They don't really stock them, I don't think, in inventory, but you never know what they might have in stock. And if they don't have it in stock, I think that we have to kind of wait till they do another run of white. So if you want, give me a call tomorrow. I'll reach out to them and see if by luck, they got something coming up, or maybe they have something in stock.
Speaking of Pete Witkowski, I believe, and I'm not sure about this, but a friend of mine, Bob Osborne, trained him. So Bob was working for Jerry Morris, and then I don't know what happened. Bob was going to go off to UCLA for a while, and then he got to UCLA and said, "Nah, I don't know about this philosophy stuff," and he ended up on the Holiday with Steve Giffen. But I think those two interacted. We'll have to ask Pete one of these days.
That's a place you should go do an interview.
Over there with Pete?
That'd be
You think
pretty
he'd
cool.
do it?
I don't know if he would.
Yeah.
He's kind of old school. I don't know if he would.
Yeah, I know. Some of these old school guys are like,
But I mean,
we could try.
Maybe if you massage him or something,
Oh, no, I'm the one who needs the massage.
Right, that's right.
Yeah.
So you're going to go there, ask for a massage.
Yes.
And then
while he's doing it, just turn the camera on. Yeah, exactly. I did that with a guy, not the massage part. Yeah, wait a minute now. Hold on. I actually had a guy who was too nervous to do the podcast, so he sat down and I turned the camera on. And the minute he didn't think he was doing a podcast, blah, 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 blah. And I go, "You ready to do it?" And he goes, "Oh, I don't think I can." And I go, "Oh, you're already done. Don't worry about it." Yeah, it's done. All right, Christopher Navarro with a $20 bill. Man, we're eating chicken wings tonight. Ouch.
Sir.
Thank you so much, Christopher. Merry Christmas to you. He says, "Merry Christmas to you and all our fellow anglers out there." Chris, that is so kind of you. Thank you so very much. Really, really appreciate that. Merry Christmas to everybody out there. As I say, we will not be here Christmas Day, but we'll be back soon after that for sure. David Rosenthal is back with us. He got the sheep's head yesterday on the Red Gold HUB hub.
Hookup bait.
Oh, there you are.
Yeah.
I called that one.
Hookup bait.
Did you hear me say that earlier?
Yes, I did.
Oh, you did. You're paying attention.
Yeah, you're astute.
Yes, I am. Astute? A stupid?
A stupid.
Yeah. All right. And it's Isaac now. Good evening, gentlemen. Thoughts on the weather coming in this week? And he sends $20 for a super chat.
There you go.
Isaac, you do that time and time again. Your generosity and kindness is deeply appreciated. We're going to get that jet stream, finally dipping down into SoCal, which is very typical of El Nino years. And, sometimes that stuff gets hyped, atmospheric rivers and all that. Sometimes it's not hyped, it's very volatile. So they're never quite sure on these kinds of weather phenomenons. But I always say, see if you agree with me, I don't care if it rains that much. I'm worried about the wind.
Yeah.
And so,
yeah, definitely.
If you get a little wet, you can always wear rain gear and get through that part of it. Fish bite in the rain, but you just can't put up with 30 knots of, weather.
And I think what happens too is even 2 or 3 days of a little bit of weather isn't really the issue. We start getting a whole 2 weeks straight and then backed up with another 2 weeks straight. Then, we get to where there's like wind out there for a month straight.
Yeah.
That really changes kind of what's going on. The
oceanography. Yeah.
It may not actually make a difference as far as tuna being around, but typically we'll shut off the bite, that kind of stuff. Even coastal wise too, you get upwelling, maybe some of the water gets dirty and things like that around the coast. That's usually going to be something with longer, more sustained systems, but even something like this can kind of like slow it down for a day or two. But that tuna, I wouldn't be any concerned with that. I think with that tuna bite or the tuna, like you were mentioning next week, the boat's leaving after Christmas, I think they're clear, and I think they should find some good weather and good fishing.
I think we have a little wind, Isaac, as I remember, Wednesday, Thursday of this week, and then it goes back to really, really nice weather again. So we're going to have a little wind. Albacore fishing and that kind of stuff, you remember those things?
It was always kind of like you wanted that,
Yeah, you have that nasty weather, man. Yeah. You get offshore and you're just getting your butt kicked, and all of a sudden somebody's yelling hookup in the stern.
That's kind of was a common remark is it feels like albacore weather because it seems like that's when you get the big wide open bites where boat was sloshing around, you're getting wet by the bait tank and fish everywhere, and that's my memory of it at least seems like a lot of my best bites were in the kind of rougher weather.
Absolutely. And Isaac says, Merry Christmas. Isaac, thanks again for your kindness. We really appreciate it. All right, Patrick and Sarah up there in Montana. Sam, is there a specific brand reels you can use in your personal rods and reels? I know you sell everything and recommend all, but what do you personally use? Ooh.
Yeah, I don't.
That is, bull.
No, why would I?
No, I'm kidding you. I don't want to laugh too hard because I'm afraid I'm going to jerk my head or something.
No, I really don't. I don't have the way I really approach is what I'm going to use for a specific purpose is just that, the purpose, and if I feel like there's a reel that I think is better for that purpose, I'm going to choose it based on that purely. I'm not the kind of guy who's like all my stuff is Shimano or all my stuff is Daiwa or all my stuff is Penn, so no, I don't have a brand for rods and reels, and so yeah, I know that's kind of like feels like a cop out type of answer, but
Totally.
I definitely would recommend something based on a very specific task, but not where I'm using the same thing for everything, because I just don't believe that any one company kind of has something in every single category that is what I would rate at the highest. I wanted to use the highest rated item for that specific task. It's kind of how I approach it.
Glenn Bradley with perhaps the most insightful and astute comment of the night. He says, by the way, Phil, you look great and healthy. Thank you so much, Glenn. Oh my God. Oh, I really appreciate it. Yeah, really, I'm falling apart at the
On
seams.
the outside, on the inside, I don't know.
Glenn, thank you so much. I appreciate it. I've been working at it pretty hard here. I know it's not working, Sam. Blue Sky says, thanks for the story, Phil. Was that my dad getting drunk in Ensenada story? That was a good one. In fact, the funny thing was, I can't remember. I think I took a picture of him vomiting.
Oh, really?
And I showed my mom, and she goes, "Oh my God, that is too funny." She was laughing about it. And I think finally he got it from me and burned it or whatever. But at one point, I had him nailed. Let's see. Isaac, Sam, line class for a Penn Fathom 30. Picked up one from a friend.
Yeah, so that reel there, I would probably load it up with 65-pound or 80-pound braid. 65 probably going to be the what I'd recommend the highest as far as your braid size, and then for your top shot size, anything from 30, 40, or even up to 50. If that reel is going to end up being your 50-pound reel for sure, if that's where it's going to fall in your lineup, I'd probably put 80-pound braid for sure, and then but if you wanted to kind of get the most out of the versatility, I probably would put 65, and you could fish anywhere from 30 to 50-pound top shot on that.
Excellent stuff. James Williams says, Phil, the priests drink their share. I've witnessed it when I remodeled the storage and kitchen area for a Catholic church.
Jeez.
The bar was stocked heavy, just saying.
Wow.
So, James, I'm a Catholic guy, grew up in the Catholic church. So I used to go over to the Bishop Montgomery, they had the Franciscan house, and, go over there and sit in there, man, they had a freaking bar in there. It was crazy. The Jesuits at Loyola, oh my God. And I'm not going to mention any names. I don't want to get it, but there was a priest that used to hold court in Huseman Hall. I was a TA for Father Sweeney, and man, you'd hear him going off, and you could hear he was 3 sheets, and he was going nuts. When I was living in Costa Rica, Father Eustaki was a gringo priest, and I was sitting with him, and I just met him. I must have been 18. I'm ruining the Catholic Church, right? This is not all priests. And he used to.
Just
he
the
said,
ones that go around you, I guess. Yeah.
Really, yeah. Most people, after they get a little dose of me, start drinking. And he said, "You want to go out and have rum and cokes?" Oh, sure. I wasn't really drinking, so I was drinking rum and cokes. And I told you, he was the guy that would smoke cigarettes and then flip them out there, and the frogs thought they were fireflies, and they'd eat the cigarette and then spit them out, and he'd laugh his ass off. Funny.
People do start drinking. What do you do for a day job again?
I don't know.
Serve drinks.
Yes, I do. I'm a bartender. Yes, I make sure that everybody's under control at all times. But I don't know. I don't know. There must be a study on that. I wonder if priests are higher alcoholics than Nah. You don't think so? I doubt it.
I wouldn't think so.
I know a lot of good priests who never.
I think it just makes a good story. That's all.
Yeah, exactly. And there was a few other ones I could tell you about, but
we'll stick with that.
Yeah, I don't want to ruin the Catholic Church here tonight because I'm still Catholic. Yes, soy católico. Dane says, noticed a squid boat hanging off Oceanside today. Must be school still hanging around. Good sign, man. There are squid boats up there in Ventura, everywhere. Catalina.
Yeah, also as of note, so we just got some more squid just a couple days ago, frozen squid, from the guys. And I will say, this is probably the best looking squid.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's like, man, this stuff looks so good.
You mean they're taking good care of it?
Or I don't know.
Not that purple. You mean healthy like, or?
Yeah, I don't know if it's just not staying in storage as long, or I really don't know. I don't know why it looks better.
That makes a difference too.
But yeah, that stuff looks good.
Yeah, so I can only imagine that it looks like it was so when squid looks really bad, it's purple. That's
Mhm.
one way. And the other way is when it's like bleached completely
Bleach
white.
Yeah, this looks like
That's
nice and
crap.
brown, and
Yeah, that's
it's
what you
like,
want.
wow, this stuff looks good. Like they just froze it yesterday or something. Yeah.
Wow.
Pretty
Do you
good
have
stuff.
that here
Yeah.
for sale?
Yeah.
Oh,
We
sure,
got
that's
tons of it.
great.
Yeah, we have 1 and 3 and 5 pound boxes. I mean, we sell it all the time this time of year because, with all the rock fishing and everything, that's your bait of choice. But so we go through a lot of it through the year. But it just seems like this last batch we got, I was like, man, that stuff's like super fresh.
Man, that's great.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
could actually, if nobody chips in with money some night, we'll
Eat some
just
squid, yeah.
cook it up. Yeah, little
I mean,
garlic and butter.
Actually, I think the box says that it's for human consumption.
Bull.
Yeah, I think.
Really?
I think so.
Are you going to check?
I'm gonna look at it right
Yeah,
now.
let's do it. I'd be interested to see that. Hey, you're limping a little bit. Is there something going on?
No, I'm good.
Boy, my neck is just. Have I told you my neck's screwed up? It doesn't say for human consumption.
Certified sustainable seafood. Right on there.
Well, that doesn't say human consumption.
Well, seafood.
Wild caught. Open it up.
Right here, products intended to be consumed fully cooked.
Oh, wow. Wow, that does look good.
Yeah.
Delicious.
It has
All right.
nutrition facts on here.
I guess it is then, huh?
Well, a lot of cholesterol. I wouldn't have expected that.
How about carbohydrates? None, right?
Total 3 grams.
Really? Must be the
Must be
if you eat the
ice.
spine,
Yeah,
that
the
plastic.
eyeballs.
Yeah, really. All right, there you have it. I'm telling you, we bring you everything
It is
here.
wintertime here at the show.
Tackle Shop Confessions. Speaking of wintertime, did you hear about the orcas that showed up off the?
I saw the thing there.
Pretty
yeah.
cool, right?
Yeah.
Do you see that spy hop?
Mhm.
That was a bitchin' shot she got.
Where's that at?
That was between Furman and Catalina.
Oh, really?
Right there at Furman, headed to Catalina. They've been in here for a couple days now. These are not the transient killer whales that show up. These are more curious. They come right to the boat. They'll play around the boat, and they feed specifically on the dolphin. So they're out there chewing up dolphin. And
must be
there's
crazy.
plenty of them around, so they may hang out for a little while too. If we can only convince them to eat something else, I don't know.
A killer whale?
Yeah.
Yeah, like a furry thing.
Oh no, I would never say that. I was talking about maybe like that squid.
Squid, yeah.
Yeah, they need carbs.
I'm sure.
There's 3 grams in there.
You don't have a lot of carbs. Right?
Dan Bates, Dan, thank you so much. Sends $20 to us.
All right.
Really appreciate you. We may be headed toward a new record here tonight. Dan, thank you so very, very much. Merry Christmas to you and all your loved ones.
Anybody who wants some wings, they're paid for. Come on down.
No.
Come on down.
No, right here.
Come on down. I see a couple $20 come through there. All the wings you want, baby.
No. Yeah.
You can even take some home.
If somebody has one of those guns that
massage guns.
Do you have one of those here?
I don't.
Somebody out there have one?
That'd be a good idea if somebody did.
Oh my God, I would love it. I think that might help. I bought one, and of course, where that ended up. My wife gets everything that, this thing, it's mío. Que bueno, Felipe. And she doesn't share, so there you go. All right, I hope I don't get any Roman Catholic drunk priest stuff. It's Sarah and Patrick up there in Montana. Phil, do you know why fish bite in the rain? Because fish are already wet. He's right.
Right.
The wet weather doesn't bother them one bit at all.
No, I don't think so.
Very good. I like that one. I think there is some Catholic church, though, here. But I'm skipping. Let's see. Where?
No, right there. The very next question. Axle Ram 5510.
Oh, I'm sorry about that. Sam, on the Makara 15, can I swap out the power handle to the standard knob handle?
I'm not sure, to be honest with you. I'd have to look at it a little bit closer. I'm sure there's some different kind of adjustment or a different handle we could put on there. But as far as switching out the knob, I venture to say yes, but I'm not 100% sure, unfortunately. I'm sorry about that. But if you come on down, we'll be more than happy to try. Bring your reel down. We'll take it apart, and we'll see if that's something that can be done.
Come on down, for sure. All right, Christopher says, let's do a Friedman Adventures Island Fishing Tqckle. I threw that in to get you involved in it. Rockfish opener jig fishing trip, 22nd Street Landing.
Go for it.
Would you be interested in doing that?
Of course.
You never go on any of my stuff.
Know.
I don't go on any of yours either.
No, but actually I've done that before. It is pretty fun. Yeah.
Just jigs only?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the ones that I've done haven't been jigs only, but I'm fishing jigs, and it's a lot of fun.
When does Rockfish open? Is it April 1st?
April 1st.
Yeah.
Yeah. It used to be March, so it was
Right.
kind of hard because of the shows. And Fred Hall show was Long Beach was always first week of March. It always was on the same week,
Yeah.
so I can never do that. But now that it's in April, no problem.
Hey, while we're on the subject, you should mention you're going to be at the Bart Hall show in Long Beach.
Yeah,
That's
100%.
late in January.
January.
Thursday. It's
Yeah.
it's not open Wednesday this year. It's Thursday
Right.
through Sunday, right?
Yeah, so 4 days at same location, Long Beach Convention Center. It's about a month away here, but yeah, I mean things are looking good. I know they've been getting more and more guys to be doing seminars and more guys that are going to be displaying stuff there too. Yeah, so it's same place it's always been, but it's a little earlier this year. I'm kind of excited, really. I mean, to get the shows done a little earlier. I mean,
Yeah.
in years past, it was always kind of like it kind of felt like it was dragging on right into the season here. So it'd be nice to be able to kind of just get them done early, and I'm hoping to see everybody there.
Yeah, for sure. And Bart was at our Christmas party. You saw him there.
Mhm.
He's ready to rock and roll,
Yeah,
man.
he is.
He is. You don't know what specials you're going to have at this point in time, do you?
Nothing specific, as far as that, but I will say that, there's definitely some things I've been kind of eyeballing here in the shop that I want to take down there and give a good deal on. Some special buys that are going to be coming up here for me here this winter as well, that I've been kind of already programmed into the show, show buys, so to speak. So yeah, and from what I hear too, even I heard Turner's, made a big buy on some stuff that they always kind of have a big deal too. And then Bob Sands is going to be there, so I'm sure they're going to have their deals too. So yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be a good show. I know we're taking a lot of rod building stuff that we don't normally put on sale. I don't want to say kind of spill the beans quite yet, but things that we don't normally put on sale, we're going to be having a big sale on for you rod builder guys, and then just general tackle too. We definitely are trying our best to get some good deals from the manufacturers for the shows, and it seems like the manufacturers too are looking to deal as well. I think what's happening here is that because of the way this year ended up, that all these manufacturers have so much of product that they've got in, because everybody was kind of buying or ordering extra, because of all the shortages that we had a couple of years ago.
Trying to get ahead of the supply.
Of the supply chain thing, So it seems like to me that now a lot of these factories or warehouses have more product than they've had in like the last 3 or 4 years because of that supply chain issue. And so it just kind of the vibe that I'm getting is that they're kind of motivated to let us, get some deals. So I'm looking forward to that. I think we'll be able to bring some good deals to the guys that want to go to the show.
Surging up to over 70 viewers. Who knows what the Monday Night Football game is tonight? Do you know what it is?
I know the Eagles are playing.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Eagles and I don't know who they're playing, but
they are. I don't remember.
Doesn't matter. We've got Tackle Shop Confessions on. Way better. All right. Let's see. Isaac says, Sam and Phil. Not sure if you want to do an adventure up to the high desert for trout fishing. Silver Lake stocks again in February. It's a great time for the kids and family. Have you fished Silver Lakes before?
No,
you're not a big lake guy, so either am I, really.
I'm not. But I kind of have to get it done here pretty quick because in another 2 or 3 weeks we're kind of all hands on deck for getting ready for the shows.
Geez, you're right.
And so
right after New Year's, man,
right
it's
after
going to
New
be
Year's, yeah, we're going to be full speed in here, kind of like packing up and getting ready. So it's going to be tough for me to kind of get into that trout mode. That's probably the only downside of having the shows a little earlier this year. But I'm going to give it my best. Probably what I anticipate trying to do is get into some of those inland lakes, maybe Diamond Valley or maybe even south towards, San Diego, Dixon Lake or something like that. Those kind of places that seem like, at least from what I've heard, are a little better producers of trout. So we'll have to see. One of the things, too, that me and Andrew were talking about, and maybe someone can shed some light on it, I wonder if some of these park lakes are not very deep. And so the water, because of this weather that we've had, has been kind of hot and cold, hot and cold.
Oh, that's true.
I wonder if that kind of does something to the trout as well. They don't live as well in these park lakes. I think later on in the season,
like you get into January, February, it's going to be cold.
A little more steady as far as it not warming up as much. I think that probably changes their metabolism and all that kind of stuff. Whereas the bigger lakes that are deeper and have a lot more water probably can sustain that a little bit better. So that's kind of my 2 cents theory on there. But I'm hoping I can get away. I think when we do the shows there, I might sneak away. I don't know if I can plan something big, but maybe these local park lakes will get a little bit better.
So think about it. You're going to be doing shows from January through what, March?
Yeah,
And then that's it.
that's it. Yeah,
The PCS show?
yeah. They're like the
is
first week of March.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. Like
Okay.
the 7th or something.
And then
like
that's it?
And then that's it. Yeah.
Oh, that's
And we're
good, kind of,
yeah.
right?
Yeah, for sure. That's the slowest time of the year for us anyway. So
Yeah.
to me, I feel like that's pretty good, so I'm kind of happy to have it kind of come and go. It's going to be a lot of work for sure. I mean, it always is. I enjoy it. I love the challenge, but I'm going to be glad to kind of get it over with and get on with the season.
Yeah, for sure. All right, very good. Isaac wants to know if I'm working on my albacore prediction for this year. Of course I am.
Well, you put in a 10-year prediction. Every year you're going to predict it. So he's 3 years in, 7 years ago. So yeah.
So
yes, for sure.
the albacore fleet is going to the South Pacific right now. They just went by the equator, and they all observed that the water temp there was 5 degrees warmer than it was at this time last year, which indicates the El Nino persisting. It was full speed skipjack, bull, dorado, catching all the kind of stuff you'd expect to find.
Water.
I believe it was 83 degrees last year, and now it's 88 at the equator. So
where do they go to catch albacore that far?
I think they go to the South Pacific area.
And they catch albacore down there?
Yeah. Yeah, so some of those guys were headed out in that direction and finding really warm water there, but they'll continue on and try to find that cooler water. The only thing I can't tell you is what the hell 5-degree warmer water at the equator means to the albacore bite.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
When it was cooler, you thought for sure they were coming.
Oh my God!
So maybe the opposite is true.
Yeah, maybe. Knowing me,
yeah,
whatever it is, I think I just have to say there's going to be no albacore this year, and it's going to be freaking wide. I probably should do that just for the sake of Southern California sport fishermen. If I were to come out and make a prediction and say there's absolutely no chance that albacore will show up in Southern California this year, what do you think would happen?
You have to believe it. You have to believe. You're saying it just so you can say, see, I brought him because I faked him out.
Yeah.
But you have to believe it. You don't believe it.
I don't.
You don't.
No, I'll have to look. I have to look at this all again. But so the forecast for the El Nino right now is that it persists into the spring, maybe the summer, and then followed rapidly by a La Nina. So I would say a lot of it's going to depend on when that happens. The La Nina is the cooler water, which the albacore prefer. So someday they'll be back. I guarantee you that. I asked Frank LaPreste this year, and he nailed it. He said, I don't know about this year. He was hesitant, but he goes, they'll be back, but not sure about I think they're coming, Frank. This is it. And he goes, not buying it 100%. He was right. Yeah, I mean, I knew that going to him,
because he's so positive. He'd probably say, oh, you never know.
Yeah.
He's like, no way.
He kind of said that you never know, but he's been in this so long and he just knows. So why not ask the guy that would have the best knowledge? Yeah, right. Seen it all. And so we'll see. We'll see. Yeah, I'm working on it, Isaac. Chris Navarro, Sam, I was night jigging for tuna with a Tanaka 22 100-pound. When fighting the fish in high gear, the drag was fine. I dropped it into low and could wind through the drag without gaining line.
So what he's talking about there is that he was able to make the drag slip, in low gear. The only thing I can really, suspect that might have happened is that your drag setting was low altogether, and when you had it in high gear, you weren't able to turn the handle past the drag. And then when you got in low gear, basically you have more torque and you're able to make the drag slip. So the only thing I could figure, Chris, is your drag setting was a little bit too low. You should, if you're fishing 100-pound tests on these big tuna, you should be in the 30 to 35-pound range at strike. And so if you're able to wind through that, then man, you're a lot stronger than I think. But I would imagine that your drag setting was too low. But bring in your reel if you want, and we can kind of check it out, and bring in the rod with it too, and we can kind of do a little test here at the shop and kind of make sure there isn't something else going on. But let's check it out, and I'm pretty sure that's probably the case. But if you want to bring it in, we can check it out for you.
Dave Clark says, I don't think the wine the priest drink is of a quality that you would want to become addicted to it.
Is that true?
As an altar boy?
Yeah.
So, so when I was filling the cruets in the back, which are the containers, you would, as an altar boy, there's no priest around.
Clean, yeah.
Oops, I spilled some on my hand. You wanted to see what this was all about before it's consecrated, becomes the body and blood. So there was none of that. It was not being blasphemous. I don't know. I don't know what to say. I never drank the wine.
You never saw what it came out of? What was it?
It was a bottle of wine,
Okay,
but it
bottle.
was it's hard to remember. But I think like the label was this is for altar wine,
Oh, okay, okay.
specifically made for blah blah blah. So yes, Dave, I think you're right.
Maybe Dave's drank some. Maybe he
Yeah,
knows.
Dave. Yeah, hey Dave, you getting it? An old altar boy, huh? Phil, this is Kim. You need a hot pot on that table. You and Sam could be eating squid. Oh man, have you ever done hot pot,
No,
dude?
it's good, huh?
Oh my God, yeah, because you just throw in,
throw the stuff in
the whole
yeah,
deal,
yeah,
right?
yeah. I've never done it, but I know what it is. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you have some of them have a divider,
Mhm.
and this side is the super spicy, and this side is the mild. Patrick and I were eating in mainland. We're both just like sweating, man. It was so spicy and so good. I think you're right, Kim. That sounds like such a good idea. Steve says, "Good evening, Phil and Sam." Good evening, Steve. What month is prime time for the WSBs, white sea bass?
I don't know if there's a prime month, June maybe. I think we always kind of shoot for when the limits go back up to 3. And just because you
That's
can,
June 15th.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think you can, just the idea that you can bag 3 of them instead of 1, but I'd say probably June. Yeah.
I agree with you. And a lot of people, they kind of lean like toward March,
Hmm.
April, but really you see some hellacious bites in
Yeah.
June and even into July, depending
Yeah.
upon water temp.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's when you get your biggest bites.
One of the things I was talking to one of the guys the other day is just the habits of these white sea bass and how it's changed. Maybe not the habits, but maybe how the guys are fishing them. And I haven't done it myself as far as how they're doing it, but from what I've heard is that and probably has also something to do with the electronics getting better and stuff like that. But from what I hear is that they chase these white sea bass around like they're a tuna.
Oh, right.
Yeah, they're on sonar.
You're talking about up in the Channel Islands?
Yeah,
Or
yeah. So they're chasing them
Aloha
around.
Spirit, Endeavor,
Yeah,
all
yeah.
those guys.
So it isn't like before where we would, before it was like you get into a cove, everybody's quiet, shut it down, even shut off.
Anchor.
Yeah, the anchor was kind of hand over hand.
Right.
Even dropping a sinker on the deck was kind of like a, no. You
Yeah,
know what I mean? You don't
yeah.
want to talk too loud.
Right.
You wanted it. That was the whole deal. And now it's the opposite. They're running around,
Yep.
chasing these things. And they're being super successful. Obviously, you see the counts that they have out there the last couple of years. So it's kind of total 180 from what I grew up with as far as how you kind of target them. And then also they're using a lot more lures too. Before, yeah, you would use a white jig, maybe a glow jig with a squid on it. But by and large, it was basically just a sinker that you had a hook on it. But we always pretty much fish either a lead head and squid or a sliding sinker or something like that, or maybe a dropper loop. But really focused on the squid, and live squid had to have it. Now these guys of Channel Islands are catching a lot on lures,
Yeah, those white flukes.
Flukes and all that stuff, having a ton of success. So to me, I think that this white sea bass fishery has developed so much over the last seems like 5 years or so that even this June prediction type thing, it seems like those guys can almost catch them. I mean, not at will, but when they're up and they're around, those guys are super successful. So check the counts, but I mean, looking back, it seems like June was always kind of a good time. But,
Yeah.
But these guys they're catching them seems like all year now.
And to be perfectly honest with you, Sam, that's way more exciting way to catch those things, right?
Yeah.
Because you're zooming around looking for. I was on the Endeavor. We didn't find them the day we went. The day before they had limits, but I mean, you're just zooming all around.
Yeah.
He's looking for a ball of sea bass, and it's exciting.
Yeah,
it's
like tuna fishing, pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much. And then you're catching these 40-pound, 50-pound sea bass. It's really incredible.
I know.
Yeah. So up there, Sam's right. They have some big scores earlier on in the year before June. It seems like it gets started up there, right? Halibut fishing, all that stuff gets going up there. Although our local islands here, I won't say where because I don't want somebody chasing me with a fillet knife off one of the local boats, but our local islands are.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
We haven't talked about that so much, but man, the Pride has just been knocking them dead. I mean, those 2 trips he had, like 100 halibut. I mean, that's kind of stuff you see up at, like San Francisco, something like that.
Like that California Dawn.
Yeah, they do that all the time up there, I guess. So I don't know. I mean, they really got this figured out. This halibut thing, it's so crazy.
It is.
Never seen that before, ever in my life. I mean, for a boat to catch maybe 9 or 10 was like a big deal.
Yeah.
Before, I mean, they're catching 40, 50.
55 halibut. It's unheard of.
That is crazy.
Yeah,
that's crazy. And I don't even know how they don't just get like instantly booked out for the whole rest of the year. It's just crazy. That's a lot of halibut.
Yeah.
And that's keeper halibut.
Yeah.
I mean, they might have caught 100 or something like that. I don't
Yeah.
know. I mean, that's just crazy. So, testimony to just our waters and how healthy they are. I mean,
Exactly.
we've never seen that ever, ever, ever.
So I forget who it was, but I was talking to a guy and he was saying, I was mentioning how good fishing is now. And he's like, oh, I thought, our waters are all polluted now and, we've overfished everything. And I go, dude, it's cleaner now and the fishing is better. It's like from when I was fishing as a kid in the 70s to now, we're living the dream.
There's some things too that you can kind of look at fishing wise that haven't been as good. The sand bass and the barracuda. I mean, hardly any local yellowtail that are right out front and the horseshoe kelp, things like that. But
That's true.
It seems like I don't know. I mean, sometimes it feels like you trade one for the other. I mean, but there's been other parts of fishing that have just been crazy. So you just can't have it all, I guess.
Yeah, that is for sure. What do you think the odds are I get up and do the morning briefing without complaining about my neck or back?
0.
Oh, well, no, I don't complain on the morning briefing. Very professional. I just do my thing. Here, I feel like I could share my inner thoughts with everybody.
More comfortable.
Yeah. I'm just on the morning briefing.
Yeah.
Before people start in the house and start complaining. There's a weirdo talking to a stick down on the beach again. All right, let's see. Ken Trenholm. Ken, good to see you, my friend. He says, hello, Friedman Adventure family. Happy holidays and Happy New Year. Here's to more big fish next year for all. Ken, hope we see you. That is for sure. We're going to have a reverse 2.5-day trip on the Apollo in June out of 22nd Street, and a couple of 2-day trips on the Amigo, and then a 2-day trip on the Apollo out of Seaforth. And then our November Independence trip is sold out, and then we have an April 4th through the 9th 5-day, which has plenty of room on it right now. So, yeah, it should be fun, huh?
And plus maybe some Patron trips.
Yes, El Patron. That's right. Yeah. Yes, I mentioned that to you. So we're going to have El Patron trips. You get, if you come in to the store here, we'll give you 20% off. 20% off if you show up over at SoCal Wings with a massage gun tonight. Yeah. So there you go. All right, Chris Navarro. As for my question above, what was happening? Did I need to lighten the drag?
Tighten.
The crew set my drags, the dirty rats.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, like I said, bring in your reel and I can kind of check it out. It sounds to me like you just needed to tighten your drag. And sometimes too is, you set your drag maybe before you're going to go to bed, and maybe someone picks up a reel thinking it's theirs, and they mess with it. I mean, who knows? I always say is do your best to try to set it right when you're going to start fishing. I mean, literally, you're going to go to the rail before you drop your jig, test your drag again, make sure it's good. But it's hard to say here, like obviously now after the fact. But bring in your reel, and I can at least take a look at it and see if it's kind of doing something weird.
All right, Isaac says, Sam, what's a ballpark cost for reel service if nothing is needed, just clean and lubricant? Got a few, need to start budgeting.
$35 is what we charge, but that should be about the going rate. I would think, $25 to $40 is going to be the range for most reels. Typically, that's going to be the labor charge, basically, to open it up. There are times when guys bring those reels that, I mean, they seem like they just snagged them on the bottom of the ocean or something like that, and they're totally corroded. Those reels are going to incur a little bit extra service charge just to soak them and even just try to get them apart. But it doesn't sound like that's what you're talking about if they don't need any parts. But just a cleaning and a kind of a lube job there, it'll be $35 from us for most reels. Some of them a little bit less, depending on what they are, but some of them a little bit more. But $35 is the average.
Thanks for tuning in to the Tackle Shop Confessions. Everybody hit that like button, please. We deeply appreciate it if you could do that. Rick Slater says, love ya, pescadores. What is the best fish you ever caught? What is the worst thinking you caught a giant? I think maybe you thought you had a giant fish and you don't. Or what's your best fish? I'd have to, I don't know. What would be your best fish?
To me, it was that big yellowfin I got last year. It was kind of like, to me, it was like a landmark fish for me. I mean, I could almost never go tuna fishing again and feel like, I caught a cow, and I got it the way I wanted to get it, fly lining, which is cool. So to me, I think that was probably my best fish.
Well, I did enjoy catching that giant yellowfin croaker in the surf on St. Patrick's Day which was the exact same length of the largest yellowfin croaker ever taken. Fred Oakley had the record. My kids, you're going to have a ticker tape parade for you, and we were running all over and weighing it and getting us certified. I finally went to the Cambodian donut place that I like and gave it to the girls there. I get just sick of it.
Yeah.
But my best fish, I don't know. That was definitely one. It's hard to say. I don't know. A lot of those marlin down in, I love marlin fishing. I really do, down in East Cape and that kind of stuff.
Like albacore.
Yeah, it's hard to say.
Yeah.
There's been a lot.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a hard one. I'll think about that, Rick, and I'm sure I'll come up with something in the next 3 weeks. Just hang on. Jonathan Jones, I cooked up some of the same squid a few days ago.
Oh, wow.
There you are. Just like the restaurant. Great. Try it. Dredged through cornstarch, pan fried up great. Clean and cut up, of course. Great show. Jonathan, thank you so much.
There you go.
We're going to have to try that.
Yes, you will.
Yeah, I will? Well, you like that, don't you?
Squid, yeah.
Yeah, it's good.
Mm-hmm.
Shunt Sarkisian, another man who made that with the rice and the beans from La Fogata. Shant, it's great to see you. It sounds like January 7th we're going to be doing something, so we'll figure that out. A special hello to Sam and Phil. Always enjoy the show. We always enjoy you. Can't thank you enough for what you did to make that Christmas celebration so special. Thank you so much. Eagles and the Seahawks, says Big Duke 10. Dave Clark's, it's 10-10, second half. Woo! We're going to catch some of that over,
catch the end
right?
Maybe,
yeah. Who would want to watch that crap when you've got tackle shop confessions? That is what I say.
That's what I want to do.
Yeah, all right. Rob S., Diamond Valley sticks big trout because of the stripers. The East Dam trolling with a needlefish and a crawler Sierra jig works.
Okay. Yeah, I was actually thinking about going down to Diamond Valley because they have those boat rentals.
Yeah.
We'll see. It'd be kind of cool to go down there and rent a boat, take the kids over there.
Yeah, why not, right?
Time. Yep, that's why.
Time. That is such.
Because we got the 2 holidays coming on, the Sundays coming up here. So
on Sundays?
Well, we got Christmas Eve.
Christmas Eve, yeah.
And then New Year's Eve.
Yeah, right.
So, yeah.
All right.
Those are 2.
Yes, I know.
And they're back to back.
Sunday, Monday, we'll call it.
Those are Sundays, yeah.
Yeah, right. Okay.
That's why.
Right. Got you. Well, you got Saturday to go do something.
I work Saturdays.
Oh, that's right. Well, when you get off work,
go rent a boat.
Bust into Diamond Valley Lake. Boats are cheap at night. Just unchain it and go.
Free, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Sea surface temp was 60 degrees yesterday, and Jeremy, as I remember, was around the 9 fishing cod. Labworks, good day all. Good to see you here.
Wow.
Raul Almaraz. Sam, I was told the GP Terminator was the best all-around rod. What's your opinion?
I wouldn't say all around. I mean, depends on what you're trying to get all around. That definitely is a nice rod. I'd consider it more of a 50-pound, 60-pound rod. So if 50-pound and 60-pound is all you fish, then it's a great all-around rod. But with fishing locally, you kind of need everything from 20-pound to 100-pound. So really not going to have one rod that does all of that. And depending on what kind of fishing you think you're going to do, all around could be, I would say something a little lighter that you can maybe fish bait with. I think maybe more like a towel fish. I would consider more of an all-around rod, just because you can fish 30-pound, 40-pound. You're going to fish that a lot more than you would 50 and 60. But even something lighter, something you can fish maybe 25 or 30-pound test sound. If you wanted to kind of just, take a look at what you would catch the most fish over the whole year, I would say 25-pound test. If you fish 25-pound test every single day, you probably would catch more fish than if you fish, let's say, 60-pound all day. You may not catch the biggest fish, but definitely would probably catch more fish fishing 25-pound, and that's the kind of rod I would look at if you were going to get one rod to try to do the most. But there is such a range now with fishing locally. I mean, back in the day, working at like Turner's and things like that when I was a kid, a guy would, come to us and say, well, I'm going to take my kid on a 2-day trip out of San Diego. What do I need? 25, 25, and 30. That's all you needed. A bag of hooks, a couple rubber core sinkers, and then pretty much you'd be taken care of. Well, that's not really the case anymore. I mean, the 20, 25, 30 you still need, but now you need all the way up to 100, 130 pounds. So, this idea of what we can catch locally now, it's insane. I mean, it really is.
It really is.
You know, compared to what we had before. You know, I mean, yeah, occasionally you get that big eye run, or you know, the bluefin did come around for a couple years in the late '90s and stuff like that, and that was cool. And but even then, we were using like 60-pounder. It was daytime fly line. There wasn't any other night jigging, nothing like that. And the fish, I mean, you catch 120-pounder, 150-pounder, that'd be like front page news on, you know, Western Outdoor News. And we probably, I bet you venture to say, for the whole fleet, you know, the best season, you know, if I just took a wild guess, maybe 40 or 50 of those fish over 100 pounds total for the whole fleet, you might catch that many in one night, you know, on one boat.
Yeah, it's
And
incredible.
So yeah, I mean, you know, I'm not sure if that's kind of answers your question or not, but that GB Terminator is a great rod, but more on the heavy end. Something more like 50 or 60-pound test is what I fish. Maybe even 80 on that.
Most memorable catch. Two come to mind now.
Okay.
This big bull dorado circling the Conquest, big fish. Pete Thomas, as a photographer from the LA Times there, 976 tuna is just getting going, and Joe Chait taps me on the shoulder with the bait scoop and goes like this, and there's a big mackerel. Tossed it right on that 40-pound dorado, actually 38,
That's a
but
big
close
one.
enough. That's a big local
That's a big
dorado.
one. Yeah, yeah.
So that's one, but that's not the one.
All right.
The one is Phantom, backside of Catalina Island.
The
My
Phantom.
wife
Yeah, that's right.
is giving birth to my son Philip,
Right.
and I'm fishing 69-pound white sea bass, which I dedicated to my son. And of course, that marriage went right down the tubes.
Yeah,
After
what else are you going to do at that moment?
yeah, that was it. And so, yeah, 69-pound sea bass on April the 9th. Oh, yeah, I guess I know exactly when that was, right?
Yeah, yeah.
1991.
Yeah. Had to
Yeah, yeah, I know, because Philip was born that day. I've never thought of that. Yeah, I know exactly when. And that was about, I can't remember who got bit in the early, I think we did get bit. Larry Moore was running the boat. Guy by the name of Bill Beebe was there. Do you remember Bill?
Yeah,
He wrote
yeah.
for the Daily
be.
Breeze.
Yeah.
Bill was there. Eddie Pacilio, Craig Beaker Jacobs was Larry's deckhand, or you know, whatever. And so,
What a trip.
oh my God, that was amazing. and I didn't have the biggest one. I think there was a
Really?
couple 70s on there.
Jeez.
Yeah, it
That's
was
crazy.
amazing. Captain Larry doing his thing. 73 people watching. People don't need no stinking football when Tackle Shop Confessions is on the air, and my neck is killing me. Have I whined enough about that, Sam?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Labwork says hot pots are the bomb, and he is so right. I love hot pot, especially in mainland China. That was a lot of fun. Where else did I do it? Taiwan, I think, was fun also. Rob S., alcohol-free wine from an altar boy.
Huh.
Yes, absolutely. Raul says, Phil, Sam, do fish have ears with one of your comments? What?
Go ahead and answer the guy.
He's asking you, or
He's
did he say
asking
Phil
Doug.
and Sam?
Yeah.
Who did he ask first? Phil. Do they? Yeah, they have ears.
Yeah, they do.
Of course they do, and
Yeah.
they can hear your comments, Sam. And you've offended the fish tonight. I don't know what you said, but Raul, I don't know, Raul. Do fish have? They have lateral lines. That's how
Lateral
they hear,
lines,
right?
Yeah, I don't think they have ears.
They don't have ears.
No.
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't know. Yeah, lateral lines, I think. Labworks, you will have to head to Australia for a crack at the potato cod. Yeah. I don't know if you watch a little bit of Gary Loomis, but he was talking about fishing on an island from the beach, and he went to walk down to fish to make a cast, and the guy goes, no, there's saltwater crocodiles down there. And so he cast it from up high, and he kept hanging these fish that spooled him every single time.
Huh.
And they were saying they were potato cod. So
Really?
yeah.
Interesting.
Hey, did you see that thing I posted the other day about the psychologist in Australia?
Mm-mm.
There's a psychologist who reached out to me in an email. I thought it was great. I can't remember his name right now, but anyway, he said, Phil, I want you to know, I don't know you, and blah, 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 but I take your Mark and Paul rescue video with Desiree and I show it to my patients, and it has such a great effect on them. So I thought
did
that was
see
a
that.
lovely thing of that guy to do.
It would. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's saying that he wants to come here and go fishing and have us cook up a meal. We'll have to have him in here if he
cool.
shows up, or if we ever end up in Australia. That would even be better. All right, very good. Let's see. Fernando Hernandez So are the wings a Monday thing? You guys are making me hungry. Fernando, pretty much, man.
Yeah.
After every show, it used to be we kind of would go and not go. And then there was a time period where we were getting so much food in
Yeah.
here,
Yeah, we had
people
no
were
reason to
sending
go.
it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And so that kind of slowed down. And now, so people donate money, and then Sam and I could afford to eat
Yeah.
after the show.
But yeah, Mondays, it's pretty dang good though.
It's really
I mean,
good.
we
They're
have it
big.
every single Monday, and I don't get tired of it. Every single time.
Yeah,
I'm like,
me
"Man,
either.
this
I
is
look
so
forward
good."
to it.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a little bit off my keto diet in that the sauce,
Yeah.
but
Breading or
you
whatever,
got to
yeah.
live once in a
So
while.
good. It's so good.
I've heard that the buffalo wings over there help with a sore neck. So I'm
That's
going
what
to
I've
get
heard.
double order tonight.
Double. Okay.
Yeah, see if that actually works. Yeah, Fernando, if you're not doing anything, you live around here. We'll see you there tonight. Anybody else? Come on down. Christopher Navarro, I think white sea bass have flourished as we've been going nuts over these huge bluefin until last season. Everyone has been offshore. Phil, yellowtail prediction for next year. Wide open forkies next
Oh,
year. It's
man,
going to
I'd
be
love
really
that.
good. All this
Yeah.
squid around here is a magnet that's going to. There's more squid
There's a
this
lot
year
of
than
squid.
we've seen in
Yeah.
a long time. And last year, as I remember, was a good squid year. But this year is
Yeah.
incredible.
Yeah, this year's crazy.
Surprised though. I haven't heard the boys complain about the price dropping, but that seems like it's coming.
Well, sometimes
so
what happens,
much.
it's not only the price dropping, but how far they have to go. Sometimes those guys got to go to offshore banks, 43 or something like that. And
Yeah.
so by the time they get out there, all the fuel they spend, it's like they're not making hardly any money. So I think a lot of it is along the coast. So it must be pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And Chris, the sea bass actually, I think Sam will agree, really started to make their comeback when they banned gill nets. When they
Yeah,
got rid of
for
the gill
sure.
nets,
For
that
sure.
was really the thing that did it.
Without that, it wouldn't happen no matter what.
Yeah,
You can't
exactly.
stop it.
Yeah. Joseph Chavez says, "Hey, gents." Joseph, by the way, welcome. Appreciate the show. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to
Merry
you.
Christmas.
There's a YouTube video out. They're taken about a year ago where this guy
Oh, yeah.
looks like a skilled angler who off Newport Pier catches a 45-pound white sea bass, Ivan Hunter. Did you see that?
I have. I think I've seen that video. Yeah.
Is it cool?
Kinda.
Sounds
Yeah,
like it would be.
Yeah, yeah. They have to even get like a pier gaff to get him up onto the pier. But I think so. I think he shows like the whole process of them driving down there to the pier and going down there and fishing and I think they get it like on a mackerel or something like that.
That
you
makes
know?
sense. Yeah.
Pretty cool. From what
That's
I remember.
awesome.
It's been a while since I've seen that video, but yeah, I've seen it.
Merry Christmas, Joseph. Thanks for sharing that. I'll check that out at the end of the show here. As soon as I get over this horrible pain that I'm experiencing, because I've got to get up and do the morning briefing in the morning for you and for all the fans out there. I don't let them
Still
down.
whining.
Huh?
Nothing.
Yeah. You got a violin?
Yeah.
Worm King, swim baits, fish. Where have you been, man?
I haven't seen him in a few
Oh,
months.
no, like for a year or two, he's been gone. What's up, Phil? I'm finally free. No work. I'm going fishing.
Good
All right,
luck. Get out
fish,
there.
man. We miss you. Miss you at the Christmas party. Miss you just in
Yeah.
general, right?
Yeah.
Why don't you come down and eat some wings with us tonight?
Come on down.
Yeah.
Phil's buying.
Yeah, no, I'm not. Oh, yeah, I am. Chris Navarro. Good night, guys. Happy holidays.
Come on down, Chris. Get
Yeah,
some
Chris,
wings.
get your butt down here. What beach do you do your morning reports on? I do it in Surfside, California, right next to Seal Beach. If you get to the intersection of Seal Beach Boulevard and Pacific Coast Highway and you start going south, it's the first right-hand turn. There's a guard shack there, and I'm in that little complex there. So that's where I'm at, and I would love to see you there some morning, Jeremy, that's for sure. Up there in Montana, Patrick and Sarah, do you replace mono Top Shot after every trip, Sam?
I do for sure. It's such a cheap part of your fishing gear. It's just good to do that. I mean, if I know I didn't use it, never came out of my bag, that kind of thing, maybe not. But if I use it, caught fish on it, definitely change it for sure.
All right, there you go. Back to Patrick and Sarah. If you only fish a few times a year, does braid need to be replaced? Does braid break down over time? Or only if you have damage like tangles or,
Yeah,
rubbing up
definitely.
against the boat?
Yeah, don't have to replace it. Definitely, if it went through a couple bad tangles, I would probably replace it. At least replace that part of it. But yeah, I mean, it doesn't break down. Not like monofilament for sure. So that stuff should last you. I mean, theoretically, it should last you forever. It's basically plastic, is what it is. What it's made out of. So that stuff doesn't break down. But
but
How
yeah,
many years is it good for? I mean, would it be good for 10
forever.
years?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. But I mean, typically just going through the guides and things like that, I mean, eventually you're going to get into some tangles. But if it's sat on your reel and you never took that reel out, it
It's
lasts
good.
forever. I mean, yeah, no time limit, really. So, I mean, there's definitely a lot in between zero usage and normal usage. But if you use a reel a lot, I would say, 4 or 5 years maybe if you use the reel a lot.
That's not bad, though.
Yeah.
That's getting a lot of use out of
Yeah,
it.
yeah. If you went fishing every month, something like that, 4 or 5 years. But typically by that time you've had some type of incident, rubbing on the boat or a tangle or a few tangles. And I wouldn't say one tangle, one like light tangle, it was not going to be a problem. But sometimes it's not going to be so much the tangle, but if you get into some line wraps, and then the other person's line starts like pull and drag,
Yeah.
where now you have tension and then drag and that kind of friction, that's what's going to mess up your line.
Yeah.
Even on the boat, if it just touches the boat, not a problem. But if you have a fish that takes line and it's rubbing on the boat real hard, that's really what's going to happen. So definitely it's a matter of degrees as far as what is going to constitute you needed to change your line, but it should last a long time for sure.
If you have a spool of it, is there like a better place to store it?
No.
Does it? It can be in the sunshine. It can be. Yeah. Okay.
I mean,
you don't have to worry about that.
You're not going to leave it in your backyard or nothing like
Right.
that.
Right.
But you don't have to worry about with monofilament with heat. Usually that was the issue with
Right.
monofilament is that we store all of our tackle in the garage, and Southern California can get 100 degrees in the garage, and then the very next day it'd be 60 degrees. So that temperature, and not necessarily that broke down your line, but you got a memory that was so bad, meaning that it stayed coiled up that it would never straighten out. So that was usually more of the problem. But even monofilament will last 10 years if you store it properly, like it inside your house where the temperature doesn't go up and down so much. But that Spectral, that'll last, a long, long time.
Yeah, for sure. Raul wants to know, hey, Phil, did you name your son Sebastian? I like that. Seabass.
Seabass.
No, I actually named him Philip Albert Friedman, the same as my name. And I know that because I was down getting his birth certificate today. And the lady's like, you want your own birth? I go, no, I should have given him a different name. I'm sorry. I need his. By the way, I was getting that because my wife's finally going to do her citizenship after 30 years.
Nice.
Yeah, finally. So I'm happy for her. I talked her into it. All right, Patrick and Sarah. Fish have ear bones. I thought they did.
Oh, yeah.
That's how biologists determine the age of most fish, known as their olithic or ear. Let's just call it an ear stone because I'm having trouble reading that. According to Google.
Yeah, no, that's right.
Yeah, that's
right. Right. I mean, they have that kind of deal too.
That's
right?
those stones.
I guess.
Yeah, is that in
think
their
so.
ears? No, that's in their head, isn't it?
Well, I don't think they have the ears like how we have ears, but I think it's the same kind of thing. Yeah.
Right.
But it is in their head. Yeah.
Yeah. Patrick, thank you for sharing. Matthew Tamayo. Matthew, good to see you. Good evening. Seems like a lot more striped bass catches lately. Could you see it being an issue for the white sea bass and halibut ecosystem in California?
I mean, striped bass, I guess, are known for being kind of invasive where they'll eat everything, right?
Yeah. That's what he's making reference to, I think.
I mean, you'd have to have a lot.
Yes.
You'd have to have a lot. I mean, with the amount that we see, we do see them 1,000% more, which is to say 10 instead of 1. But you'd have to see
still not enough to make an
tens
impact.
Of thousands of those things everywhere, where you're catching them full speed off the pier or some kind of invasion like that. So I wouldn't think that at this point I would be concerned with that.
Having said that, there seems to be a few more nowadays, doesn't there? Yeah.
Some of the marinas seem to be kind of, where it's kind of a regular thing to catch them here and there. Kind of like the bonefish, I mean.
Yeah, that's like a secret, right? But you can catch bonefish.
They're around, but they have that triggerfish too that's kind of like made population now, even in the wintertime. You think of
in the Santa Monica Bay?
Yeah, triggerfish being a warm water species.
Right.
But, so anything could happen as far as that. But I still don't see as many stripers as we do even, triggerfish or something like that, But yeah, I think it would take a lot more than what we've seen to really be an issue.
Yep, for sure. Do you ever go whale watching with the family? You never do that? Are you interested in doing that or not really?
No, but maybe.
Yeah, it's pretty cool actually. Yeah. I mean, for the kids and all, they love that.
Yeah,
they see that huge animal.
It is pretty cool.
It is.
Is that something that's going on right now?
It's just, so now is the gray whale migration.
Okay.
It's just getting going, and they're starting to see southbound whales. They're heading down to the warm water lagoons of Baja from the Bering Sea, and it's pretty cool, yeah.
Where do you catch a boat out of that?
You can, like Harbor Breeze cruises in Long Beach, and I mentioned, you can get on some sport boats, but Harbor Breeze, they have like this almost the seating that goes up. It's tiered like, so
Okay.
it's really bitching. You're
Wow.
right in the bow there, and you can see the whole thing. And if you get fortunate enough, the gray whales are cool to see, but man, if you get fortunate enough to roll up on a blue whale that's lunge feeding or something like that, it's really spectacular. You
Yeah.
see that, they come up on the krill,
Yeah.
and it's just amazing. So yeah, it's good stuff.
Gotta try that out.
Yep, I would definitely go with you on that. That would be fun. All right, let's see. LabWorks, just keep it out of the sunlight and heat, and you should get 5 years out of it. Just buy the best quality you can. PET gel spun is UV stabilized. Steve Bermudez, if I take an electric reel on a multi-day trip and they end up fishing in Baja waters, am I going to have problems? Why, is that against the rules down there?
I think so.
Electric reels are
I think so.
forbidden in Baja?
I think so.
Really?
I'm not really sure. Maybe that's why he was asking earlier about the rules and regulations.
I think that's why. Steve, it takes him a while to finally get to the point, but here, 2 hours into the show, he's there.
Yes. So, yeah, from what I've heard, and I'm not sure if I heard that here or if it was something that was in another conversation somewhere else, but I think that an electric reel is kind of considered commercial fishing. Gear. So we'll have, but for some reason that kind of rings a bell. I don't know.
It's kind of like, it was like when I was in China and I go like, the supermarket was like a mile and a half away, and I go, well, where do I catch a cab? Or, how do I, and they're like, well, if you're that lazy, like, so like Mexicans are probably like, you lazy, reel your own damn fish.
Well, also too down there, typically, even rock fishing, you're not really fishing that deep either, not like up here, but
I know.
So
that kind of like
but it's still way more convenient though.
Yeah, totally. But I've always thought, like, you're right. You don't fish real deep. Like, you jump on a pond out of Ensenada.
Yeah, 150
There's
feet.
got to be some
600
feet
feet sure
spots that are just
well,
unless the commercial guys are out there hammering it.
I think that's what it is.
Yeah. All right, Steve, you're gonna have problems no matter what, whether you have an electric reel or you don't have one. You just always have problems. Just kidding.
Next gonna be Aiken or something like that.
Oh my God! Don't start. Please help me, everybody. Patrick and Sarah, thinking of invasive. Do you think those giant squid will ever come back? I remember it was a big thing for a year in the mid '90s. Supposedly wiped out the sand bass population.
I would assume that at some point it's possible for sure. That's kind of stuff is, something that could happen. I don't know. I would say if we had, 10, 12 years of that sand bass being full speed like how it used to be, that's basically their food source. Right now,
anything's their food. They'll eat anything.
Well, but there was so much of that sand bass. That stuff was from.
Do you believe that that's
down.
the cause of the wipeout on the?
I'm not sure if they wiped it out, but they're definitely reason
impacted it.
They definitely had a reason to be here.
Yeah.
Their food was for them was from 40 feet down to the 300 feet to the bottom. And it was like stacked from here to San Diego. It was all you wanted all day, all night. So there was so much food source, and then the sea bass. The sand bass were eating anchovies and sardines. There was so much food in the coastal waters, so they just had a lot to feed on. So,
Did you ever go out and catch those things?
I never went on a trip like that, but I caught them incidentally, but never went out on a squid
kind of fun. It's kind of weird. It's kind of Jules Verne.
It is. Those things are kind of crazy. They're so big, But yeah, I never went on trips targeting them, but I caught them a few times.
I took the kids.
Pretty hard, yeah.
I took the kids when they were young, and just to see their eyes, like. Yeah. Because they're weird looking creatures.
They're pretty crazy looking.
And man, they unload sometimes with water or ink, and it's pretty fun.
Yeah.
So I know it's blasphemy to talk about those giant squid like you had fun catching them, because many people believe they wiped out the sand bass. I'm not saying they didn't, but I think
doubt it. There was a lot of squid around. That squid was. There was a lot of it. And then right after they were gone, the sand bass were gone. So. I could imagine they ate them all and took off.
Yeah. Jeremy said, I saw a whale as I pulled up on the South 9 yesterday. I saw the tail, the fluke as it was going under, but it didn't surface again in our area. Yeah, they're cool, man. And when they fluke, that's a big deal. And they spy hop like that killer whale that orca did the other day. It's all good, man. Really good stuff. Martin says, Sam, do you have any personal jig
stick, I think.
jig stick you want to sell or get rid of before the end of the year?
I got thousands of them.
Yeah.
Come buy them all.
He's got them all, Martin. I can see them right here, man. There's just like Sam said, thousands, a whole store full of jigs, man. Really, really good stuff.
Nothing. I mean, I'm pretty sure he's asking, do I have a special rod that I want to get rid of?
Yeah, like your personal rod, right?
Yeah, not really. But I would venture
You might want to
say,
take advantage of this tackle shop confession fame. You might be able to get $6,000 for your personal jig stick.
No, but I would venture to say that pretty much every rod that I like using that I own, I probably have a brand new one for sale. So nothing that I have back there is, I don't know. I mean, that wouldn't be available all the time. But yeah, I mean, I guess I'll sell anything for the right price. I guess.
That's for sure.
But no, I don't know. Nothing that I got really kind of in mind, I guess.
Martin or Christopher Navarro says Martin M asked for his old Super Seeker Ulua wrapped in green and silver. Sam has had that jig stick forever. Pair it with his old Iowa Saltus. How's that? Has he got you wired?
He does. He does.
Chris knows you.
That's one that I when I used to fish with Chris on the Royal Star and spring trips there, I always took that rod. I caught a lot of big fish on that rod. I still got it. It's an awesome rod. And it's a lot of fun. Yeah, I don't know if I'd sell it, but I guess anything's for sale.
All right, Patrick says, since it's a slow night, what do you mean a slow night? What are you talking about? Can we get a little tour of the shop? I know you did it once before. It's up to you. Sure, right?
And when we get to the end here, we'll do it.
Yeah,
We'll finish up with
that's
that.
Patrick. We like it. It's not slow. What time is it? How's our 7:45?
7:50, yeah.
Oh man, see? We've almost been going 2 hours on this show. No wonder my neck hurts so much. Oh, wait a minute. I don't know, Patrick. If I have to carry that heavy camera around here.
Yeah. It's pretty heavy.
Yeah, definitely. We'll do that. I don't know how many jig sticks. I just keep building them, says Labworks. I don't know how many.
Jig sticks
I own, yeah. There's a little heart in the way.
Jig sticks are fun even to build, I think. I mean, it's one of those rods that, because just the idea of jig fishing is kind of like romantic almost. To me, it is, at least, kind of what you go through as far as building the rod and by and large over the years, as far as fish that are local fish that we regard as, prize fish, big barracuda, big calico bass, big yellowtail. By and large, a lot of them are caught on a surface iron, as far as regularly. So there's always this kind of thought when you build a jig stick is you're going to catch your next jackpot on that thing,
Yeah.
So to me, I think he's right. Building jig sticks is one of those things that, and it kind of never gets old.
Chris Navarro says the Christmas code for the discount should be Steve can't cast. Is that Steve that works there?
No, Steve Puckett, I think he's talking about.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Very good. You want to, we'll run around the store a little bit?
Yeah, let's do that.
Let's do that. Hey,
Another
folks,
time.
hang on to your questions. We're going to take you for a little tour, then we're going to come back and wish you a Merry Christmas. Patrick says you better check with the producers and the elite cameraman crew. Make sure if it's okay with the big production you had before. Yeah, don't worry. We got this taken care of, I think. So
Yeah.
I'm going to go out there and follow you around just because I have nothing else to do. All right.
Cool.
Sam De La Torre. Here we are at Island Fishing Tqckle. Here we go. This is one of the most important things here. No, I'm kidding. Go ahead.
All right, we can just go from one end to the other here. This is, at the moment, a little bit of a mess because we're organizing all of our blanks that will be taken to the show. But you can see this ocean of blanks here. This is a bunch of CalStars, Rain Shadows, United Composite. But this is our clothing area, although you can't see too much clothes over here right now. As you can see, we have...
Well, you got a bunch of clothes here.
Yeah, we got some clothes. I mean, nice jackets and stuff. Boots, we got tons of boots. Then we have our lobster gear over here. This section actually we kind of put together for this season. In fact, we'll make that our sale for the week. For you guys that are out hooping, this is kind of the time of year, especially after the rain. Usually your best hooping time. So if you guys are looking to get in some lobster hooping and get some lobster for your holidays here, come on down, and any of this lobster stuff, even the nets, which I kind of already have at a pretty good price. You get 25% off any
Wow.
of this lobster stuff. So anything on this wall here, lobster related, 25% off.
Is
So
there a code word? Or is it?
Steve can't cast.
Oh, we're going with that. Chris nailed it. All right, sounds good to
we'll
me.
go with that here.
Good job, Chris.
It's Costa sunglasses case here, something that I kind of like. You know, I was never, when I was growing up, never bought any good sunglasses. I just, whatever was on sale at Big Five or something like that. and I
$13,
just-
$10.
Yeah, just go with that, you know. But the first time I put on a quality pair of sunglasses, I mean, I never looked back. This is, to me, something I believe in.
It makes a huge difference.
It makes a huge difference. Your eyes aren't as tired at the end of the day. And to me, it's just the way I go now. I mean, I don't wear them every single day all the time. You know, although I do wear them when I drive in the morning, coming into work. But on my fishing trips, I definitely wear them every time I go. And I feel like at the end of the day, I'm not as tired. And nowadays that you got to fish all day, then fish all night, I think it's a kind of a big deal for me to take them. So,
You know, they're essential to surf fishing too.
yeah,
you know,
for sure. You can see so much.
Yep.
And you know, since we're kind of on this side of the store, I'll include this Costa sunglasses. We'll do the same deal on those. If anybody's looking for a gift for themselves or a buddy, or you want to send a wife down, this is kind of like a real common gift that guys get this time of year. The Costa sunglasses, come on down. We'll give you 25% off of that.
Damn, it is Christmas.
Yeah. So can we kind of get into the rods here for the shop? You know, this is kind of a forest of rods here. We have
Oh,
everything
my
here.
God,
All this
is it?
United Composite, Seeker, Phoenix, Daiwa rods, CalStar rods. It's the whole deal here. So we got, I mean, literally thousands of rods, guys. You know, pretty much anything you can think of that you would need, we got them, man. We got everything for rods here. This is our hook wall. And once again, too, we try to keep stocked up on hooks. We try to have everything that you need. We got Owner, Eagle Claw, Gamakatsu, Mustad, and everything in between here. So we got tons and tons of hooks, as you guys can see, and from all sizes, you know, small to big, inshore, offshore, freshwater, we got it all. Then we got our reel counters down here. I don't have the lights on here, so it may not show through the camera real good.
Well,
That
looks
first
good.
case around the corner, we have mostly all of our used reels. And so we got a ton of used reels in there, some old stuff, some not so old stuff. You know, we got spinning reels, something that we do really well with. You know, I mean, we talk about it all year long. In fact, on my 11th day, I used a 5,000 size Daiwa reel, and I caught a whole bunch of like 30, 40 pound tuna. It was a blast, man. So I'm going to make sure I take that every year. You know, all the regular conventional stuff for your Penn, Avit, Okuma. You know, we have in this case. And over here, we have our Daiwa, Shimano, and even those jigging reels there. We have some of the OSHA jiggers, some of the Marfix reels, electric reels on the bottom, accurate reels.
There you go, Steve. You can get arrested in Mexico with one of those.
Come on down here. So we can just kind of go left to right here. Follow me to the first to the last aisle.
I'm getting seasick.
Well, you see some blanks here. So we got some more blanks. You know, CalStar, United Composites, Seeker, all that kind of stuff.
What a
But,
cameraman you have.
We'll just go kind of really quick here. This first aisle here, you can kind of look down the way. Kind of our tools, your pliers, you know, cutters, things like that. You know, this side here, we have all our like reel, you know, supplies, bearings, drags, handles, and kind of your reel service supplies, oils and greases, things like that. This next aisle here is kind of our first rod building aisle. So we have guide sets, we have some more blanks, we have the unibutts up here, we have machines, supplies on this side. This side over here is all thread. So we got a whole bunch of thread, and you know, it's one of those areas in which I can see where it's tough for a tackle shop to carry this. So there's so many between the different brands and sizes and the sizes of the spools. So we got tons of it here. So that's rod building.
Man.
Aisle number one. Aisle number two for rod building. This is kind of our handle aisle. So here we have cord, cork tape, shrink tubing, Turk's heads. On this side we have our grips, Hypalon, butt caps, reel seats, cold shrink, EVA, cork over there too. So we have everything to build, everything from a trout rod to a big tuna rod. So we got everything here. And then we also have, which we don't have over here in these two aisles, is behind the counter we have more reel seats, Alps reel seats, and then all of kind of our higher end guides, Fuji guides, titanium guides, all that kind of stuff we have behind the counter. Next aisle here is kind of our first jigging aisle here. So on this side here, all knife jigs over here. So we got literally 10 tons of knife jigs here. They all weigh a bunch. But we got our rip rollers, our SK jigs, some jig paras, and then this side over here we kind of have our surface baits, poppers, stick baits, and all the different brands: Yozuri, Shimano, Nomad, Rapala. You know, we have all the stuff here. Halco, bunch of kind of surface poppers and stick baits. This little end cap right here is kind of new for us. So all the stuff in here is basically to make your own assist hooks. So if you wanted to get into that, a lot of people are starting to do that because you can make the different sizes. And I think some of your videos that you put on with
Brian?
Brian Nguyen here, he kind of speaks on that, you know, kind of making them the right size. So we have all the supplies here to make your own assist hooks. And then here's the assist hooks themselves. So that goes with all those knife jigs here. This is kind of more of our traditional jig aisle here. So we got a bunch of yo-yo iron on the left side here, and to go along with more of our fish type lures here, the Zacanas and the Colt Snipers. We still have some of the flat fall jigs, and then on this side here we got some Wahoo stuff here in this corner, and then over here all of our surface irons. So we got, I mean, literally a couple thousand surface irons here. Taddy and Salis and JRI is our main brands. Also kicker jigs. Actually, those have been selling pretty good lately. People have been getting into those. But so we got tons of jigs.
What inventory, Sam?
This next aisle over here is kind of our rock fishing, you know, and then we have some scents as well over here. We got some of that bank stuff, which is popular down there at the lakes. Maybe I should have been using that. But on this side's all rock cod. The other side here, so we got rock cod jigs, ganyons, 2-hook ganyons, you know, and then the bucktails as well. So that's this aisle here. The next aisle is going to be our line and leader aisle. So by and large, most of our monofilament line that we carry is the Iser line, Triple X, first string, leader stuff up here, all your crimps and your springs, all that stuff there, your wire over here. And then on this side is pretty much all fluorocarbon and a little bit of Spectra, but all kinds of fluorocarbon and Spectra on this side over here. So this side is going to be our freshwater aisle here. Bunch of Lucky Craft lures on that side. Crankbaits, worms, Icas here, Yamamoto grubs. This side is going to be more your terminal side. Small sinkers, your split shots, small hooks, floats, and then your gulp dough bait here. This one end cap here is kind of like all of our trout stuff here. So we got you know, small little rooster tails, small little tube baits, mini jigs, all that kind of stuff in there.
These Castmasters are also really good surf fishing
Castmasters,
lures.
yep, all that kind of stuff. This guy over here is going to be kind of our bags and tackle boxes.
Yeah.
Over there, and mostly soft bags. We have our SK boxes and there's traditional boxes there as well. Also the jig boxes as well on this side. Then that last aisle is actually just storage, so not too much to see over there. But on this back side here, we have all of the trays, you know, which actually we sell a lot of trays. And one of the things that I like about that is, depending on how you like to organize your tackle, especially at home, you know, we get to buying so much stuff. Keeping your stuff organized is kind of important. That way, when you need it, you can find it pretty easily. We have all that. You know, we have rod and reel covers, that kind of stuff. We have some gaffs that we make for guys here, bamboo gaffs, heavy gaffs there. This is all of our surf fishing rods here. You know, kind of our Southern California surf fishing rods here.
Oh, those are nice.
Yeah, a lot of cool stuff in there. Trout rods over here. So we got the full gamut from trout, surf, rail rods, everything like that. This next aisle is something that we've kind of started a couple years ago, and we kind of like moved it from one aisle, and it kind of took a while for this to get going, but we got it going pretty good now. This is kind of our inshore aisle. So we have all the Lucky Craft 110s here, which is pretty much the #1 bait for fishing halibut here in Southern California. Larger jerk baits here. A lot of guys are using these kind of baits for fishing down at Bay of Alay, stuff like that for Cabria. All of our Kitech baits here, which is kind of really grown like huge for guys that are fishing local jetties, fishing inside the harbors and things like that. And then over here too, our Zooms. And we have these Mustad Z-tail minnows, which has been kind of hot as well lately in fishing some of the harbors. And on this side here is kind of our micro jigs. We have the submission jigs and then the Mustad micro jigs, and then we get into our lead heads. War baits, full selection of war baits, all sizes, all colors, cool baits, our owner beast hooks for rigging some of those big stuff, and then your more traditional lead heads, and then those get some heads that we were selling like crazy earlier this year for the sea bass. That was kind of one of the big things. So I think that kind of covers it all.
Man, what
But
an inventory, man.
That's the whole shebang there.
All right, I guess we should sit down. I think I saw a few more questions come in.
Okay.
We can catch up on that and then wish everybody a Merry Christmas. Thanks for that tour, Sam, Patrick, and Sarah. That was a great suggestion. Except, oh, my neck, Sam. It hurts so much. All right, let's see if we can catch up here. I think people are just like in awe of what inventory you have here. God, you have so much stuff, Sam. It's unbelievable. Okay, I think we got a ton of questions here. Let me see.
That's right after the suggestion there.
Where is it? Is it still further back?
Yeah.
Oh my God, really?
Yeah.
Man, you really screwed us up, Sam. No, here we go. Martin M asked. We'll get it for you in 1 second, folks. Don't go anywhere.
Yeah, lab works right there. You're on that one next.
Okay, lab works.
He was responding to the jig stick question.
Okay, we're good then. Jeremy's getting dizzy. I was getting seasick. Don't hurt your neck anymore. I already did. Do you have workman's comp here? Well, I guess I'm not working. Lab works. Okay, well, I'll have to stop by for the blanks and hats. Yeah. Dezing DeWong, who is a generous guy, gave us a very generous donation for our Mexico efforts. Thank you so much, my friend. Hi, Phil and Sam. What electric reel do you recommend for deep water rock fishing? What reel that I can put 30-pound braid on it, as Eric Lansfield of Bloody Decks Outdoors recommended?
So the reel that most everybody wants is that Tanaka 500. So it's the smallest reel that you can get from the U.S. Unfortunately, those things are like just out of stock, to be honest with you. The next size up is the 750. That one is in stock. I know we just got some of those in as well, but the 500 is what one people look for. But if you can't get that, the 750 is the next biggest one. And what you could do is maybe load it up halfway with maybe 50-pound braid, and then maybe put like 300 or 400 yards of 30-pound on top of that to get you under your 30-pound. But if you can find those 500, that'd be the one.
All right, and everybody else is just making comments about your inventory and how great a store. And some guys are like, I wish I lived closer. Those kind of comments. Move over, I'm moving in, says Lab Works. Patrick and Sarah say, go ahead. You were going to say something?
Fish with This was asking if we fix rods.
Yeah, there you go.
Guides on rods. So, yeah, all the time. Yeah, if you have some guides that need a repair and bring those down, we do that all the time.
All right, Patrick and Sarah say, thank you, guys. Thank you for everything. Merry Christmas to you both and your families, to the Friedman family. Merry Christmas, and wish you all the very best. And we send the exact same to you, Patrick and Sarah, right? It's we're very blessed to have such a great audience. Current Jam, you guys are the best. How is the local San Diego bite during the wintertime? Private boater that has made it to the 43 a few times, and he has enough range. It can be pretty good in the wintertime, right?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we're definitely on the backside of this tuna, especially for the private boater. I haven't really heard of any of that stuff biting real close. I think they had seen some stuff at the 43 actually last week as this stuff kind of started to resurface, but we'll have to kind of see after the storm what those guys are finding as far as your tuna. But all your local stuff, maybe some of that stuff down there, depending on where you're out of, San Diego, maybe the Hoya kelp beds, that kind of area was probably what I'd start looking for.
There's some excellent halibut fishing down there sometimes in the wintertime. And
has there been a lot of squid down there too, or I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't know. There's been some squid in La Jolla, and how much I don't know, but earlier on there was a lot of squid there, so maybe. That is for sure. And the other thing is you can go across the border and you can catch rockfish.
That's the deal right there.
Yeah.
Fish coronados or something like that, yeah.
Dezung DeWong says, can I use my old heavy rock cod stick with roller guides with a new electric reel, or do I need a specialized rod?
You definitely can use that old rod. I mean, but part of the beauty of newer gear is that it is a lot smaller to carry around. Definitely when you rock cod, you're not really worried about the weight so much at that moment because you just lay the rod on the rail as the reel is kind of winding up for you. But you still got to kind of carry it around in your car or whatever. But yeah, I mean, if if as long as the reel fits on the reel seat, I think you can use it no problem.
Tim Marquez says Sam's place is a home away from
Yeah,
home.
Tim's
Tim's
in
a
all the time,
super
man.
great guy,
Yeah.
man. Tim, Merry Christmas to you. Christopher Navarro, Island Tackle also has rod clamp parts, part of the behind the counter stuff. Steve can't cast.
Hashtag.
Yes. And Adam says, Merry Christmas, you guys. Merry Christmas, Adam, to you and all your loved ones. Hey, I want to wish you all a Merry Christmas. I'm going to turn it over to Sam here in a second, but thank you for all that you've done this year for Sam and I here. Tackle Shop Confessions is a real deal now, and we deeply appreciate it. And Sam, I couldn't do it without you, man. It's always a lot of fun.
It's the last one of the year, huh?
Yeah, I guess, huh?
Yeah.
Is it?
Come quick, man.
Unless we do it on another day. We'll
Maybe
call it the last one
we'll
of the
see,
year,
yeah.
and we'll see what happens. And I'm so looking forward to getting over there with the wings tonight and having you give me that back rub. That's it's really going to be good. I can't wait.
Tell me to bring some wing sauce, put it on you.
Yeah. Merry Christmas, everybody. Happy New Year. I'll turn it over to Sam.
All
He can
right.
tell you where he's located and send you his Christmas
So
wishes.
we are here centrally located in LA, city of Carson, 21809 Avalon Boulevard, city of Carson, 90745. Phone number is 310-707-1205, and we are open Monday through Friday from 10 to 6. If you want to reach me, you can call down here, or you can reach me through social media on Instagram and Facebook at Island Fishing Tqckle. Get a hold of me if you need anything.
Sam, one more time, the discounts and the password this week.
So the password is Steve can't cast, and we're talking not about the Steve that works here. He can cast just fine, but that's Steve Puckett. A friend of mine and Chris's. But we got all of our lobster gear, 25% off of the marked price, and then we have the
Costa sunglasses.
Costa
Man.
sunglasses, yeah, 25% off. So all that stuff's good. Kind of some stuff for yourself, and maybe some stuff for a gift. And we do have some ladies frames in there if you want to get something for your wife or significant other as well.
Sam, thank you much. Merry Christmas, my friend.
All right, man.
We'll say goodnight to you all. God bless you all. And
Good night, my wife Adriana and kids.
we'll see you next
See you
year,
next-
everybody.
Bye-bye.
Take care.